to Talk the Kēki, Matt and Iran.
Konnichiwa!
Minasan, konnichiwa!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fall finale of Talk the Kēki, also our last episode of 2022. We're going to talk about holidays. We're going to talk about finales, cakes, awards, bonding over nutshots, the joyous bonding broship tradition that we just found out a couple of days ago.
Indeed.
Anyway, I'm Matt, and to join me, as always, Ethan, what's going on?
Minasan, goki genyo, Makun, daijoubu desu ka?
Everybody's Daijobu here. How was your holiday, Ethan?
It was pretty chill, honestly. I did all my Christmas stuff on the eve, so I literally spent fucking Christmas Day catching up on all the shows that I was behind. I got to finish Attack on Titan season 1, and I got to finish our main event that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah,
we got to finish JoJo, baby.
Yeah, you got to finish it. That's always good.
Yeah, what about you, buddy?
It was nice. Got high.
Because I got high.
Of course, yeah. Relax the body for all the fucking crazy holiday hours.
Yeah, dude. We got you working like a field slave.
Yeah, one more 6 a.m. shift tomorrow, and we're done.
Woo!
Woo!
You know, I wanted to also, while we're on the air, wanted to thank you for your gift, buddy. And I'm still pissed off that my shipper hasn't even fucking sent me your gift. So I'd like to fucking tell them, like, bro, they could fucking go fuck off, but I gotta wait for it because it's not only our gift, but it's Sean's gift too. Shout out to Sean, W2M Network, hosting us, all that. Cheap little plug, right quick. But no, I want to tell the story of how I got your gift today, dude.
Sure, go ahead.
I already went over it with you, but I think it'd be pertinent for the fans.
I know you called me when I was working.
I know, because I was like, dude, is this you? So I'm at work, guys. I'm in front of my computer. I'm just doing what I'm doing at work, and I get a ring at the doorbell, right? And I've ordered 3 things that I'm expecting. I ordered a pair of shoes, I ordered a pair of Ray-Bans, and I ordered 3 hats. When I looked at the shipping, I knew that the hats were coming, right? It said the hats will be delivered today. I'm like, oh, cool. These must be the hats, right? So I wait for normally whenever people ring the doorbell, I wait for them to leave, and then I go about and see what they left me. The lady didn't leave after like a couple minutes. So I was like, that's odd. So I went over to the door and opened the door, and she's like, hey, you have to sign for this package. And I was like, sign? I was like, that's really odd. You don't have to sign for anything unless it's expensive. And she's like, oh, the package came from Japan. And I was like, huh? I was like, I didn't order anything from Japan. And she's like, are you Ethan? I was like, yeah, last time they called my name, you know? And so I signed for the package, and I get inside, I open the package, and there's no, I was thinking there would be some sort of like Merry Christmas or, suck on a bag of dicks or some sort of message, right? That I would know who this is from. So I took a guess, and I was like, the only person who knows who this character is besides my nephew is my podcast host. And so to the world, this is what Matt got me for Christmas.
That's right.
A Kazuma figure. All the shit that I talk a lot of shit about you figure collecting fucks, because you guys are a bunch of fucking weirdos spending $300, $400 on a little 8-inch figurine that's so delicate and having a bunch of them all over the place. I mean, I spend, bunches of money on shoes, but that's practical. I can actually wear my shoes and go out. You can't take your figurines nowhere. God forbid.
Yeah, you could if you don't, unless you want looks.
It's very creepy looks. It's almost like walking around with a body pillow. Let's walk around.
They'll respect me in Japan.
They will. This fucking weebo. No, but I was really shocked. This is really cool. This is my first figurine. And like I told one of my friends, and she was like, she's like, oh, at the start of your collection, you're gonna collect a bunch of figures. And I was like, nah, I always talk shit about those motherfuckers. And I thought about it. I was like, if I've got Kazuma, my what's it called? My nephew has a Kazuma, and he's got the entire collection of Konosuba. He's got Darkness, he's got what's her face? God damn it. Megumin. It's got the girl that wears purple with the humongous tits.
Lisa?
I think it's Lisa. I think it's Lisa, yeah. And so he's got the whole collection. I'm like, oh, it would make sense for me to get it. But I was like, no, I think I'm gonna let this one stand out. But still, it's if you guys can't see it, I'll put it closer to the screen. It's got pantsu. He's got fucking pantsu on his
that he stole.
Holy balls, Batman. This is really fucking cool, though. I was like, did it come with the stand? I was like, it's gotta be. Yeah, and the stand's there. This is really cool, dude. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's official from Japan too. Look at that. It's all in katakana, hiragana, and in kanji. And I can't read 3/4 of it. I can read some of it, but not much.
Good. Glad you like it.
Thanks, buddy. I'll let you know when you get yours back in February.
Oh, I got my Secret Santa from you.
Yes, you were my Secret Santa, Matt.
I was like, I was kind of curious what someone else would get me because I already know you already got me a gift. So I was like, oh, I got Blue Belt. I want to know what Marte would have got.
He would have gotten you something cooler than a $25 Pro Wrestling Tees gift
card. I know. I'll still use it. I ain't buying a Coca Cabana shirt. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you that much. Please don't get me a rum cake if you're ever my Secret Santa.
Oh,
okay. I'm not a big sweets guy like that. You know what I'm saying?
So. Well, it was for whoever my Secret Santa was. Like, they're stuck with it.
Basically.
Well, she enjoyed it, so that's all that matters. fucking shipping though was like $20.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, dude. You spent almost $30 on shipping.
Well, for that, and for the cake.
Are you serious with the cake too?
Yeah.
Holy balls, back.
No, for that, like you have to buy multiple. If you buy just one, it's like $50.
Yeah.
It's $30 a cake. So if you got, unless you're buying 2 to 3, don't buy one from these people.
You know what's crazy? Hold on a second. I'm reading the paperwork right now that came from here.
I couldn't get you a jar for the figurine, but
no, I don't give a. No, I'm gonna keep it in the fucking box, even though it's big and bulky. I don't give a fuck. But still, it's interesting because you paid, according to the receipt. If I pull the receipt out, you paid $29.99 for the figurine, and you paid $22.50 for shipping, which is goddamn atrocious. I don't know how the hell I would probably do that. I don't know if I could do that, but it's interesting because if you look at the value of the model on the invoice that's here, it shows that the figurine is only 1649 yen, which is about 1570 something according to the exchange rate. So you pay double the money for the figurine. Because,
apparently,
yeah. These are all the little shits that I noticed.
I'll never forgive the Japanese.
Oh my god!
Yes. They got me.
Oh, that's funny. You had a good holiday, though, buddy? I don't recall you telling me.
Yeah, again, I got high, rested at the body, caught up on some shows. We did gifts.
Yeah.
Counted my very low holiday tips from customers.
You got something.
Overall, I got 200. But again, I had that route for like 6 months, so of course no one knows me.
With your route, you personally go up to them and give them mail, right?
I walk up to the door. I go to the mailbox.
See, that's different, yeah, because I have a fucking shitty little box where they drop off my things. I went from a townhouse that had the box, and I moved to an actual house. And you would think like, oh, I'd have my own mailbox. I feel like besides the white picket fence that all the white people think is like the American dream of having the white picket fence, I've always thought having your own mailbox it was like really satisfying, because my parents.
No, it's having a milkman that fucks your wife while you're at work, but you got a tall glass of cold milk.
And so did she, except it was warm.
Exactly.
You got warm milk. Oh God, no! But I was like, so I have to always walk over. I don't ever see the fucking mail person. Like I'm just like, there's no familiarity there. There's no like, how you doing, Frank? Oh, I'm okay. My wife fucking is a whore. Fuck, I love her. Whatever, shit like that, like there's none of that. So good for you though, Matt.
But yeah, all that fun times, and now
all that and a bag of cake.
Yeah, exactly. All right, shall we get started? It's a 2-parter today. We're gonna talk some news. We're gonna talk about some finales, some continuations for part 1.
I almost asked you if we should drink. I don't really feel like drinking, but I was like, I feel like it might be appropriate.
I drank earlier. I'm good right now.
Yeah.
Maybe for part 2 I'll grab something, but probably.
Yeah, I have a bottle of coquito, like a little tiny, like little fucking 20-ounce bottle of coquito, and I was like, I've only tasted it once. I was like, I wouldn't mind having a couple.
I couldn't find a Puerto Rican to make it this year. Maybe next year.
There's none in Vermont, I'd imagine.
No, but we had plenty in fucking
What kind
Long
of Spanish
Island.
people are in fucking Vermont? Or like, is it like Mexicans? Is it like
What?
What kind of Spanish people are in Vermont? Is it like Mexicans? They're everywhere, obviously.
Probably. I haven't really seen many in Vermont.
It's only just white and black people, and that's it.
Mostly white.
Mostly white people. I see white people and wolves. That's what I see.
Yeah, I see white people and coyotes down the block. Wolves,
coyotes. I tell you what, buddy.
Yeah, those two, like fuck. And bears.
Gotta love the wilderness.
I do.
All right, buddy. Let's get started. We got a long night ahead of us.
All righty. We will try to keep it brief.
No cake. Facebook user. No cake. Cake later.
Yeah, cake later. Cake for awards. We're giving out cakes.
Yes, we're gonna give tons of cakes out for our awards. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're either gonna agree or yell at each other. Mostly
it is currently 8:22 as we record. By the time we get to giving out cakes, it'll be like 10:30 or some shit like that.
Well, some shows ended, so we'll see. Alrighty. We're gonna start off with sad news. Yuji Nunokawa, creator of Studio Parrot, passed away at the age of 75. He created Bleach, Naruto, People's Classics, Black Clover. And yeah, this happened, like just after Bleach ended. So, yeah, condolences to his friends, family, colleagues, loved ones.
Hi, mucho gracias.
Alrighty. Now, somewhat positive. No. Tenchi Muyo, GXP, is it's a new anime project. I haven't seen Tenchi Muyo in like 25 years. I didn't know they were still going.
I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with it.
I think it's like one of the OG harem types.
Ooh.
But it's like, oh man, it's been years since I've seen anything from them. Maybe like in Toonami when I was like 10.
Relive your childhood now, buddy.
I don't care enough. I don't care enough.
You probably will at some point.
Maybe. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Otome games is tough for mobs is getting a season 2.
All right. I didn't watch that. You watched that, I think. Did you? No,
I did not.
Okay, there were people that were talking about it, and I think it was fucking what's his face? What's his dick? Ross that talked about it.
I know someone did.
Yeah, I think it was Ross. Ross was talking about it in our group.
Yeah,
Eat the Cake anime for those who want to join.
Yeah, I thought we had a thread for that. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
No, we did not have a thread.
We didn't. Okay.
Ross made the thread. That's what I said. I think it was Ross that talked about it. Ross talked about it. He made a thread. Nobody gave a fuck, but you know.
Because no one else watched it. No one else voted for it.
We encourage you guys though to make your threads.
Yeah.
Make our workload easier.
Yeah. If you want to, if we're not covering it, if you want to, you ask permission, go right ahead. Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, The Separation is the part 2 for the 1,000-Year Blood War that comes out in July 23.
And it can't come fucking soon enough, dude.
Yeah, well, we got 6 months. We'll get there.
6 months is too long, bro. It's 3/4 of a pregnancy. It's too long.
It'll be worth the wait. Alrighty, and finally, an original anime, Turkey, just got announced.
I saw the visual, and it's a really pretty visual.
It's character designs is the same person that did Carol and Tuesday. And Bakken Record is the studio behind it.
Did you see the visual?
I did, yeah.
It's a really pretty visual. It did remind me a little bit of Carol and Tuesday from that visual standpoint. I didn't watch it, but I've seen the visuals from there, and that's really nice. There was another one, goddammit. It reminded me a little bit of a tiny bit of am I thinking of Words Bubble Up Like a Soda Pop?
Maybe.
Looked a little like that.
Oh, let's see what this guy did.
Don't mind me on cam while I play with my hair, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, nothing. This guy did nothing else really. Oh, sorry, it's Key Animation is Carol and Tuesday. It's not the guy that made the characters for Carol and Tuesday.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Ari Takegawa is like he's new. He's new in character design.
Okay.
Turkey and Mu Ipan.
Hi.
All right, that's it for news. Let's get to it. Let's crack this cake.
Did I go over? I didn't finish Peter Grill last week, did I?
No.
Okay, so I have two still. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll go. The finale of Peter Grill wasn't that bad, truth be told. So what's it called? Everybody tries to basically do whatever special techniques they can to break down this two-headed fucking steel cicada. Nobody could touch it. Everybody's in fear. Peter Grill comes, and Peter Grill has the.
I bet he did.
Yeah, he did. And he comes through, and he has the orgillium. That's what I meant to. This is what I was talking about, like the special like heirloom axe. It's made out of orgillium, which is the strongest steel they have. And so he made it was forged not into a sword but into an axe. And so he comes in, saves the day, chops off the cicada's heads with the orgillium sword, and everyone's like, yay, Peter Grill, Peter Grill, Peter Grill. And so he goes and bows before the guildmaster. The guildmaster is like, Peter Grill, why is our sword now an axe? And he's like, basically what's it called, he's like, I think, and he made up some bullshit instead of like outing the guy for fucking him by saying like, oh, you fucked up my sword, your sword, you piece of shit. He's just like, I think we needed to reforge it to strengthen the bonds between us and the dwarves, and we should reassess this agreement. Basically everything Lavilia Senpai said in the previous episode without him knowing that Lavilia Senpai said it in the previous episode. And so, he's pissed off. Everyone's like, oh my god, yay, da 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 da, whatever. All's well that ends well. And then we get the scene where the orc, what's it called? Not orc, I'm sorry, dwarf. The dwarf liaison basically is Milliam's, was again say Milliam, but what's it called? It's her father, and was like, oh, like, Milliam told me the story that you're gonna, break up with Lavilia and marry my daughter. And he's like, break up? What? And he's like, no. He's like, surely you wouldn't fuck my daughter without having serious intentions, right? And he's like, of course not. And then while this is happening, Lavilia is having a talk with the guildmaster, and she's like, I deserve a vacation. I want to go on a long vacation with Peter Grill. I have these coupon tickets that I received from the liaison, the dwarf liaison, to go to like an onsen. And her father fucking shreds the paper and is like, stop talking nonsense, let's go home. And she's like, no, I'm not going home, I'm gonna move out. And they start having a bickering argument. And so while Peter Grill's talking to what's it called? Not the liaison. He ended up talking to his little harem, and they're talking about, oh, we got to readjust the schedule now when we get to fuck you. Lavilia comes over on horseback and is like, come, Peter Grill, we're escaping. Like, I'm running away. And the season ends with them running away somewhere to have a nice long vacation. And I'm sure it'll get cock-blocked in season 3, which I will probably watch, unfortunately. So honestly, I gave this show a really low rating because 3/4 of it was just so like, ugh. And I guess perhaps I'm like starting to fall into that trap of watching too many anime to start appreciating the really bad ones. So I gave this a 2 out of 5. But my stupid ass will watch season 3 if it comes out, because who doesn't love watching perverted anime, right?
Yeah, like Harlan Labyrinth.
Of course not. Of course, yes. Anyway, next up is okay, let me all right, anyway. Next up is Boruto. And with Boruto, we get the finale of the Squid Games arc. And so basically we have like a little scene where basically who is it? We got Boruto, I forget her name, the one girl character, and Rokuro. And they're trying to find a place to escape, and they get separated. Rokuro basically does what he can to get the map, and then he ends up getting fucked up by a puppet of Oga. And so with Oga, what's it called? Basically, they're like, oh, we gotta find a way out, but the girl is dying, and the girl's like, I can't make it, finish me off. And Boruto's like, no, I'm gonna finish. He's like, no, I'm not going to. And he gets stabbed by her, like, oh, she's pleading with Boruto, finish me off. Boruto realizes when he got stabbed, oh, I don't feel pain. This is also a genjutsu. We're good. We're totally good. And the girl's like, you got me. And so he's like, what do you mean? And the girl transforms, and she's like, I'm the real Oga. And not only is she the real Oga, she takes off her headband that she had on. She's like, I'm the 8th inner of Kara. Whoa, didn't expect that at all. The 8th inner of Kara. That was a great reveal. And Boruto's already like freaking out, and Oga's like, relax. I'm not a barbarian like the other inners, and I was only altered. My mind was altered, like my brain is altered to be super, super smart. And she basically explains like her circumstance, how she was basically trying to study the human heart and emotions and things of that nature. And she tried to study Jigen's, and Jigen didn't like that shit. And so Jigen blew out her fucking brain, but only blew out the piece that causes like, what is it? Like human, like the reason for living, like the part of your brain that gives you the reason for living. So she had no reason for living. That's why she ended up doing these experiments. She's like, I wanted to study human emotions and find if there was something that you guys live for that I could live for. And there ends up being this scene basically where they're still in the genjutsu, and then everything starts to collapse. And basically, her mind is so fucked up, like she can't wake herself up, like because she has no will to live. But she needs to wake everybody up in order to release everybody, or basically everybody dies. But Boruto's like, no, I'm gonna save you. You're gonna wake up. You're gonna release us. I'm not gonna be the one to release you, because the alternative is Boruto stabs her and kills her, and everybody wakes up because she's dead, because she's the host. So they end up having this like crazy scene where she almost falls off of a cliff into eternity or some shit. Like that was okay, whatever. Pretty visuals, but that was okay. But basically, Boruto's will to, you know, make sure that she has something to live for, perseveres, and she's able to take Boruto's hand. Everybody wakes up from the dream. Boruto gets in contact with Team 7. They rendezvous, and at the end of the episode, Shamo, who's the little rock shinobi, and everybody's alive, by the way. Nobody died. Everybody's alive because it was genjutsu, so it made sense. And so Shamo gives a letter to Boruto. He's like, hey, they found this, and it's a letter addressed to you. And he opens the letter, and it's from Oga. And Oga says, hey, I want to thank you so much. You gave me a reason to live. I found my purpose. I'm going away somewhere, like, you know, so I can revel in this and, you know, continue to expound on this. But once, you know, everything calms down, I want to come see you. And that's how the episode ends, which basically sets up, because she basically was Amado's assistant. Amado was the mad scientist for Kara. So basically, I think she's going to come in later, because they did mention, and I think I mentioned this in one of the news after the fact, that they're going to be returning to the manga, and they're going to be animating the code arc, which is fucking bonkers if you've read it. So I think at some point during the code arc, or maybe during another filler that may be pertinent to the code arc, she'll come back in. But regardless, this was actually one of the really good fillers of the show. Up there for sure. I'd put it in top 5 fillers of the show. Which isn't saying much. It's like saying the nicest guy in prison, as somebody that we likes to say. But regardless, it was fantastic. I would honestly give this arc a solid like 3.75 out of 5. It was really good.
All righty, very good.
One more thing. I'm not going to review it today, and I told Matt I want him to pick it up, but I picked up another show that was debuting in the fall, and it is Play It Cool, guys. I had originally wanted to see it, but then I didn't see it where it was gonna like be anywhere, and I'm not gonna be the type to go on illegal sites. I don't have the patience for that, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just not gonna watch it. I found out it was on Crunchyroll. It's a TV short, so there's only 11. It's only an 11-minute episode. It's a 24-part series. It's split into a split core, so they debuted 12 episodes during the fall, and it'll continue on in winter with another 12 episodes. I watched episode 1 a little earlier before the show, and it's really, really cool. And basically, the story is about, pun intended, basically the story is about 4 guys that are like really like good-looking guys. They're cool. Girls fawn over them. They dress like really like, you know, sharp and trendy, but they're all dorks and awkward as fuck. So it's like think of a mix of Uramichi Nissan, a little bit of Bocchi, and what's it called, and like a little bit of like yaoi like vibes with like maybe a Sasaki to Miyano. It's like a mix of that shit. And so I liked it. Like I said, I only watched the 1 episode, but I'm definitely going to keep watching it. It's a short, so you can watch 2 episodes for the equivalent of 1. And yeah, can't wait to review that come next thing. Add another one to the list. 24, goddammit.
All right, very good. All right, I only got 1 for solo.
Oh shit! Then you should have gone first.
I should have. I was looking. I was like, wait, is that? Yeah. They all ended last week, and I already talked about them. All right, Blue Lock. So let's get to it. The second selection has just started where everyone is on their own. Isagi goes first. Stage 1 of this test is basically you have to score 100 goals in 90 minutes. And the more goals you get, the difficulty goes up a notch. Like the holograms, like people blocking, like these little machine things. So you gotta do that. You gotta play a whole game's worth to get 100 goals. So obviously, as he goes on, he struggles at first because he's trying to figure out how to do it correctly, but he eventually gets all the 100 goals. So he goes on to the next stage. He goes to the next stage, and he sees Bachira, his former teammate. So they're all talking, and they find out for this next test, is now teams of 3. So it's now Isagi and Bachira, the teaming up, and now they need one more person. But unfortunately, none of the other teammates had made it through yet. So they can't pick anyone right now. They're trying to figure out who should they pick. And the guy from the last team, Nagi, who was, again, from the previous game, the one that was like really good, really dangerous type of thing. He goes there with his friend Rio. And now Rio's trying to recruit Isagi on their team because it's just them. But Nagi said, fuck that, actually. I want to join Isagi's team. You're on your own for right now.
Kick rock, bitch.
Yeah, basically. He said he wants to play with him, and so basically, if he wants to team, he's got to join his team, he's going to have to do it. So it's Isagi, Bachira, and Nagi as a team of 3. That's a great team. I'm all for it. So they move on. They have the team, they go to the other side of the room, and they see a team of 3 people right there. And there's one guy that just stands out, unlike the other 2. So he kind of looks like Isagi. That's not Isagi. I forgot his name. Hold on one second. It's Itoshi Rin.
Okay.
His name is Rin. He has that determination, that fire, and basically, yep. So, basically, for this, it's a 3-on-3. If you win, you get to pick one person from that team. So Isagi wants to win, so he can take Rin to join their team, and that was where that ended. So Core 1 is done.
Okay.
We won't get Core 2 for 2 weeks.
Interesting.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the soccer games. I liked the characters as they went on. If it was just this, I would have given it a 4 out of 5. So again, I'm looking forward to the rest. See how this goes. I don't know if they'll wrap it up with the season.
You know what's interesting is that we were doing the stuff for the yearly reviews, right? You're like, oh, if it was just this, it'd be a 4 out of 5. And I was thinking to myself, if this was just My Hero, it would be in my top 10 of the year already if it was finished. And then I was also thinking when I was trying to rank things, one of the things that didn't make my list was Cuckoos. And I was like, oh, I rated Cuckoos. I think it was like 5 or 6 in one season. In the first part was like a 5 or 6. I would have given it like a 4 out of 5 maybe. And then
I will say right now, it did not make it in my yearly.
Yeah, it didn't make it my yearly either. And it's funny because it was ranked a 9th in the following season, and I ranked it was like a 3 out of 5, and I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 as a whole. Just because,
I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, something like. I mean, it was closer. Like it was like a
3. But the first half was strong. The second half, it felt like it fell off a little.
It fell off, yeah. So that's why it's funny that you said like if it was just this, I'd give it a 4. And I'm thinking to myself like, hopefully it continues to be that way, Matt, and doesn't fucking go to shit.
Yeah, I hope not too. So, but I'm excited for the next soccer game. So we'll get to that. Alrighty, so that's the solos. It's only been a half hour when we're only talking about news and Christmas.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Alrighty, let's get to the stuff that's not done. That's going to be carrying over to the next season.
Hi, Ikuzo.
Alrighty, let's go with Gundam.
Solid episode of Gundam.
Very, very good episode. They took a week off, and now we're getting. This would have been the finale if they didn't take another week off.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so they wanted to take their sweet time. Also, before we continue, I want to say Uncle from Another World or Isekai Oji-san is disqualified because it got delayed again. The finale got delayed. because of another COVID outbreak.
It will not make your top 30.
It won't make it in anything. So, I'm just like, I'll finish it, but it's just like, you know what? Fuck it.
It's depressing.
It wasted my time. It would have been on my list. It probably would have been like between 15 and 19 around there.
Yeah, there's so many anime that we didn't watch that were like Netflix specific that I like. For example, I really wanted to see the one anime Bastard. I really felt like that could have made my top 30. I haven't even I've just seen like the highlights, like a couple like clips of it, and I'm like, oh, this looks really fucking cool. And Starman is like, oh, it's a horny anime. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna love it now.
Yeah,
So in my head,
I don't think it would have made my list, but it probably would have been a winner or runner up for fan service of the year.
really, it's that fan servicey.
I probably would have, just from the visuals I've seen.
I haven't seen those visuals. I've just seen like the cool fucking fighting. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen random pictures. Not bad.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna spoil it for myself. I'm gonna enjoy it at some point in my life.
Alrighty. All right. But yeah, let's get to Gundam with Suletta Sulkin.
Yeah.
For basically, for what you call it, Miorin said about basically she took it out of context. She felt like, okay, I guess you really don't need me. You don't want me to do anything.
And she expounds on that. She's like, I don't think anybody needs me. Everybody's just using me. So her whole idea, like the first piece of the episode, is just like, be useful, be useful, be useful, be useful. That's all she keeps telling herself: be useful, be useful, be useful. Somebody accidentally miscounted the lunches that they brought for everybody, and Suletta gave the lunch to somebody else, and because of that, she ended up with no lunch, and so she just drank water in a bathroom during her lunch. And later on, they're like, oh, why do we have an extra lunch? Because Suletta didn't get her lunch. So Suletta's, like Matt said, sulking in the bathroom. She calls her mother.
She's like, first she's talking to her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Also, before that though, we know we picked up where we left off with the mother talking to the guy they want to assassinate.
To Delling,
yes. Do you remember how that conversation went by any chance?
The mother and Delling?
Prospera and Delling, yeah.
So basically, they're working on a secret project. It's Delling's project, but he's using the data from the Gundam from Ariel in order to fund whatever this project is. We don't know what it is. And but Prospera is like, hey, I can help you further with this. And Delling is like, don't step out of line. It's my project. And she's like, of course it is. And there's something very mysterious to Prospera. She's not the nice, sweet, mother that Suletta is in terms of being a daughter, and she's not the woman that she was, the very kind-hearted woman that was doing the test with Ariel back when Delling fucking niched the whole thing and killed everybody. There's definitely some twistedness in there, and so I'm very curious in the second half specifically how they delve into that. But you can tell in that conversation, basically that's what it is. So we have that, and then also in the meantime, before we get to the best part of the show, in my opinion, of this episode, we see the Earth terrorists and
the Earth witches. Those witches.
Yeah, we call it the Earth witches. They go by basically, and so they have the ship that what's his dick is on, Jatark.
Yep.
Grell. They have the ship, and they're basically fixing like, just a normal ship, but they're gonna basically deploy their fucking their trap in time when they get in like the proper airspace. And we see what's his face, Jatark, the head of Jatark, speaking to Delling and trying to have a conversation with him about the Gundams, and the conversation goes awry. He yells at him and basically is like, oh, like your time's coming, motherfucker, in essence is what he said. And so he calls Shadiq, and Shadiq, he's like, commence it in 2 hours. That's actually how the episode really started, is he said,
Shadiq's talk about.
Yeah. And so he calls Shadiq, commence the operation in 2 hours. And Shadiq is like, okay. And he goes to one of the girls that's in his loft and is like, tell him to start it now. They're like, are you sure? They're like, whatever. It doesn't matter. Fuck him. Like, I would do it my way. So then that's how everything kind of gets put into place. And meanwhile, also everybody is on this particular, what do they call it? Like a mine or like a station, some sort of like particular like floating like base basically for everybody, for the Benedict group as a whole. So you see Prospera's on this ship, Delling's on this ship, what's his face? The head of Jatark is on this ship. Suleta and Miorine and all of
The gang's all here, basically.
Everybody's on this ship, basically. And
so someone's dying this finale.
For sure. For fucking sure. So you can continue off with the sulking.
Okay, yeah. Basically, after all that happened, Suleta was in the bathroom, basically hugging herself as she calls her mom. And then she actually opens up to her mother about everything that is going on. And after the call, what happened, Ethan?
She gets a knock on the bathroom door.
Miorin heard everything. So she
I laughed.
Pissed.
I laughed when Suleta opens the door, sees it's Miorine, and is like,
tries to close her right away.
Blank face, closed door, and she's like, "No, I heard everything."
Like, okay, man. I did laugh during the entire chase. So she's like,
I laughed,
tried to
and
hide.
She smacked her fucking head. She smacked her head on the wall, and she's like, "I'm so sorry. Get back here." It was literally like a mother and a child.
So basically, like, if you have it's a lover's quarrel. The married couple fighting. She's like, it's like, you got something to say to me? Say it to my face, you bitch. He's like, no.
Yeah. But then Suleta gets cornered, and we get a little bit of Yuri. Yeah.
Yeah, Miora's like, hey, it's all in your head. Shut the fuck up. And he's like, holds her. Talks about like she wanted to do all this because of her.
Mm-hmm.
She inspired her.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in the conversation that Suleta had with her mother's like, "Are you crying, Suleta?" And then she starts crying more. So as Miorine's holding her and like basically like snuggling her bosom, Suleta's looking at Miorine like, "Are you crying?" And Miorine's like, "Don't look at me right now." And then, but basically, it was a really heartfelt conversation. She told her she basically understood what Suleta was saying, and she's like, "Well, tell me you want me to work you, basically. Tell me that you want me to need you." And she told her, like, "I need you. Like, it's not a matter of like, oh, you're a convenience. Like, I legitimately need you." And she's like, "You're my groom after all." Like, so she's really opening up to Suleta. Like I said, it was a Yuri moment. It's obviously not a Yuri show per se. They probably won't end up together getting married, but it was just a nice intimate moment between the bride and the groom that you can surmise is a little bit of Yuri. Very heartfelt, tugging at the heartstrings. And then as that's happening, Matt, what happens?
I don't know. Even you tell me what happens.
You don't remember, do you?
Probably not.
Okay. As they're snuggling, having this moment, an explosion happens, and we see basically the Earth Witches have commenced their targeting. They basically attack the station. So the first thing they do is they deploy a communications jamming device so nobody can communicate with anybody. Then they send a couple of the mobile suits out, and they cut a hole in the holding cell where is it where Ariel is, or no, it's where Delling would be. And so they basically cut that area off from the rest of the ship so they can isolate Delling so they can kill him. Yeah. And as this is happening, we see one of the Earth Witches is absolutely fucking crazy because earlier in the episode, you almost shoot fucking Jatark in the face. Gwell almost shoots Gwell in the face because Gwell was like being a smartass, and the commander who is what's her face, the blue hair girl.
Which one?
Jesus Christ! They're gonna make me go to fucking home. Go to
what?
Mobile suit. I already got it.
What? Nika.
It's Nika.
Okay.
I already got it. Nika. I always forget her name, but Nika. It's basically Nika's father figure is the commander of the Earth Witches. But in any case, this bitch is batshit crazy. I forget her name, but she's batshit crazy. And at the end of the episode, basically, we see Ariel gets separated from Miorine. Like there's like an airlock seal that comes between them. She's trying to figure out how to get back to Miorine, and she looks in the window. And as she looks in the window, we see the batshit crazy girl who's obsessed with Ariel, by the way. In the previous episode and this episode, she's watching Ariel's videos and the Gundam videos saying, like, it can fly, it can dance, it can save people. Ariel! And so she's like, oh my God, I get to meet Suleta. And she's going to try and blow her fucking brains out with the mobile suit.
Yeah. So who's dying? Who's for Suleta? Do you somehow see her mom dying or a twist of her being the antagonist?
No, I see her potentially becoming the antagonist toward the end. She's not dying.
But you see her being the antagonist.
I see her potentially being the antagonist, the grand antagonist. Yeah, when it's all said.
The one that probably set up the whole thing with Delling to get him killed.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right,
see...
so is that just me that got that vibe? All right.
No, it's not just you. I can definitely see that. It may not happen, but I could see that possibility. That makes sense. Truth be told, I could see Nika dying.
Maybe.
If somebody had to go, I would pick Nika.
If someone from the crew had to die.
Yeah. Or I could see the one woman from Pale, who was her Kohai, who was Prospera's Kohai.
Okay, I'm trying to figure the name, but yeah, I definitely see more than one person going.
Yeah, people are gonna die this episode, zero doubt, zero fucking doubt.
I cannot wait. Well, we will review that in our winter premiere, actually.
Indeed,
because it comes out January 8th. All right, moving on. Eminence and Shadow. I didn't see today's, so we're only gonna do last week's.
Today's was interesting. I'll say that much. I saw today's.
I know it was action. It was very action packed.
Lots of blood.
Okay. As
and
this
zombie.
one, and this one was half titties, half action.
There's some titties in this episode too.
Of course, of course, the fucking was.
Of course, all right. There's a lot of fan service from the cat girl. That's all I'll say.
I know, but I'm saying, like, out of nowhere, again, 9 episodes or so, none of that shit really. All of a sudden, it's everywhere.
Yeah, we get butt naked cat girl.
What the fuck happened? Did Kevin Dunn go, well, frankly, does she bouncing titties?
I mean, that's not a bad thing in the grand scheme of things.
I know, but again, it's like it didn't need it. Probably it was fine without it. Like,
it was different because it didn't have so much fan service.
Yeah, but we can't have that.
No, not at all.
So yeah, that lost a couple points.
Must have underage curviness.
Yeah, like fuck Sid, it's about the elves.
It is. I mean, they're fine.
As a fate,
Starman
kind of ruined Sid for me because of that.
They're all fine.
They basically, no one gives a shit about Sid. He does nothing. There's no plot. It's just the harem of elves.
So I'll tell you this: at the end of this week's episode, Sid is gonna be the grand master of everything.
Oh yeah, for sure. But would people care? It's not. It's like a Wish.com Eisen or whatever.
No, not that bad. No, he's not that bad.
Okay.
Anyway, previous episode, Matt, because I don't remember it now.
I remember a little bit. This one will be quick. Basically, Sid, after his little grand performance in this fucking Coliseum thing,
yes,
he wants to take a break.
Yes.
He wants to go back to being a background character.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that doesn't happen because this anagram suddenly showed up in front of him.
Yes,
it's like a door for a portal.
It's the door to the sanctuary. It's a door to the sanctuary.
Yep. So he's like, well, I guess I'm going. And
he tried to escape. He literally hopped around half the town and it would continuously follow him. They're like, all right, well, if I can't fucking escape it, might as well go in it.
And then, he goes back into shadow gear. The girls see him. They follow him inside.
No, incorrect. So he goes he goes in by himself in the middle of like a wooded area. And that's that. The girls go in on their own in the Coliseum and everybody follows him. And so basically from Sid's side, Sid opens a door and sees the Witch of Destruction that he faced, and the Witch of Destruction is like, she's just calm and she's in a straitjacket, and they have a little bit of a conversation. They're like, hey, you want the same thing I do, right? You want to get to the middle of the sanctuary? Yeah, well, I want to break out. I can only do that through the middle of the sanctuary, so let's help each other and let's get there. And he's like, all right, whatever. So he's like, oh, well, the first things first is you got to break the straitjacket. So he slices the straitjacket up. And of course, she's butt fucking naked.
Yeah. Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she be?
Why would she butt naked? So she puts on some clothes and they go on their merry way to try and find out what's going on. In the piece of that, they basically, as we learn throughout this episode, the sanctuary is an eternal memory chamber where basically you relive like horrible memories of your life and through eternity. So we see the first memory from the witch, and we see her at like the science like the science location, which we'll delve into momentarily, and she's crying, and basically she slaps the girl from like, stop crying, slap, and that breaks the memory. Like, you need something to break that chain of the
Right.
memory. So she slaps the girl, breaks the memory. In terms of like the science location, we learn the true origins of we actually learn the true origins of all the girls. If we recall from seeing Alpha, and
Yeah, that's
I believe
right.
it's
We got her
Delta.
backstory.
Yeah, and I believe it's Delta as well. We see, or one of them might have been Beta. One of them, either way, we see them all like
Was
fucked
it
up.
was it Epsilon?
It might have been, yeah. But we find out it's all the girls. All these girls suffered the affliction of being cursed. We find out the curse isn't like a curse per se, but basically, the cult, it has been trying to cultivate these demonic seeds, and from the arm, because again, the mythical legend is that the hero Olivier sliced the devil's arm, and they've got the devil's arm sealed up in the sanctuary in the bottom of the church.
Right.
But we find out they're trying to harvest the devil's energy to give themselves like crazy power with these seeds. But the thing is,
the beads of Diablos.
the beads of Diablos. But we find out the beads of Diablos, basically, you can only produce 12 a month, or 12 a year. Sorry, you can only produce 12 a year, and you have to take them once a month in order for them to go into effect. And so they basically try to use these experiments on the girls in order to try and like, is this a good combination? Is this a good combination? Is this a good combination? And we see these girls all fucked up because of that. That's where we get Alpha, and that's where we get all these girls. And you find out in this in the next episode, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it pertains to this. It basically, as I said, all the girls had this. Like, you see Epsilon, you see fucking Zulu, whatever the fuck, whatever, all the girls that he has in his thing, he saved through this. And I don't think he correlated that. He didn't correlate that. It just, oh, another girl with this, okay, let's save her. Another girl with this, okay, let's save her. And told him the bullshit story, and they went with it. But now they're uncovering the truth that they were afflicted by the beads of Diablos experimentations. And so we find out basically that the archpriest that's there, the acting archpriest, is not necessarily the archpriest, because the religion is just a cover up, but it's he was a scientist, and he's the last remaining scientist, because he's been taking the Diablos beads of Diablos, and that's how he's been able to live for so long and retell these stories. And so he basically tries to like pull a trap. The episode ends with him trying to pull a trap on the girls, and the one guy, I think is Delta fucking kills him, right? Sends him out into like whatever fucking like river area thing, and Alpha scolds her. It's like, didn't we tell you if you're gonna kill somebody, A, first off, you weren't supposed to kill them because we need to get information. B, if you're gonna kill somebody, you make sure you get the body. And you see basically with the beads of Diablos, he resurrects himself and comes back to life, and he starts basically making a bunch of clones of himself, and Delta just goes batshit crazy with her fucking powers. And that's how that episode ends.
Alrighty. All right, moving on. We got two more of these continuations.
All right.
2 Year Eternity.
Really good.
Again, I'm glad it's picking up like how it was. Three things are happening. Fushi first is training to build the materials for in the boat. While that is going on, Kahaku and the Guardians are fighting knockers. And Bon is is talking to the Princess of Renro.
Yes.
Basically saying like, hey, like you people need to retreat. The knockers are coming in. As of right now, it's half a year.
Yes.
And then she is basically put her foot down and saying, "Nah, we got it."
Yeah.
Like we don't need your help type of thing.
Yeah.
However, it eventually leads into we're going to fight, but you're going to fight with us type of thing.
Right.
So you know what? It's fair. Compromise, more people, stronger numbers.
Why not?
You know the deal.
Yeah.
All right. Now we go back to Fushi, because this is it's basically who we meet.
Yes.
And basically, he's the Fushi decides to basically take a break. He's in a village.
Yes.
He's buying stuff. He's like learning to do this, like how to make certain foods now. All this, like he wants to grow his powers as much as he can.
Yeah, and he has a little bit of compassion as well, because he's like, the easy thing is to just touch every food, and now he can make it himself, and he don't have to pay for it. But the merchant is like, hey, you're gonna buy that? And he's like, yeah, I'll buy everything.
Yeah, because they have to make a living.
Yeah, he's like, people gotta make a living. They don't know my strengths, so no problem. I'll give you guys unlimited money that I have, just out of my hand.
Also, people support your local shops.
Yes.
So that's the meshes there. But basically, yeah, he has his bag. First, he sees a couple of people from the village glaring at him.
No, well, first he sees the poor people, and he's like,
I'm saying one of them was glaring at him, and then on the other side he saw like these like homeless, starving.
Okay. I'm thinking you're thinking of the child and the mom. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But Fushi does leaves all the food for them because basically he already touched them, so he can produce it now.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need it. Yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah, win-win. Then now we see the mother and child like they're looking like what the fuck you doing type of thing.
Yep.
And then Fushi was just trying to help. Like, okay, these people are poor, they need help, they need money, food, and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he produces some money, tries to give it to them.
Yep.
And she like, no, we don't want it. Like, you rich people always look down at us. You think it's a game type of thing. Like, no, it's like it's not a game.
Yeah.
Like he's really trying to help, but I guess the people in that town, they got fucked over so many times. It's hard to trust people.
Yeah.
So basically, it's got to basically fuck off. Basically. So he leaves for now. He goes to the middle square, and there's a thing going on, kind of like a freak show type of thing. And there's this guy talking about there's someone there that's made of clay.
Mm-hmm.
So Fushi tries to go look at it, and he sees a girl in the cage, a girl and a little kid, a little boy.
And the little boy's dying.
Yep, like he needs help. Fushi wants to help them. So the guy's like, no, you can't look under there before the show starts. And Fushi like has this giant bag of money, like, trying to buy them so he can give them some help. But surprisingly, he was denied, and they said, "Fuck that!" So like, yeah, you're done. Like, go get out of here, scram.
He's like, you don't know what I went through to get these possessions. He basically is like treating them like slaves.
Exactly. So what does he do at night, Ethan?
He breaks in, melts the bars, takes them with him, and escape. But the boy doesn't make it, and he passes.
Yeah, he does not make it. And you find out that this girl does not talk.
Yes.
But we'll get to that in a bit.
Yes.
So basically, he takes this girl back with him.
Yeah.
Like feeds her, like tries to like help her out, like get her on her own 2 feet.
Yeah, feeds her, gives her a bath, gives her new clothing.
Yep.
And she's not, again, she's a black, like she's black because she's a mud person. But when you wash her, all the mud comes off, and she's a sparkly, clean girl.
Yep.
And we'll get to why she doesn't talk like Matt said momentarily.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's actually going to be next.
Yes.
But during all this though, Fushi has his like pain sensor, like he's able to feel pain, like but it's coming. You find out it's like coming from her.
Yeah.
And basically, she has this jar of clay with her that like she carries it with her.
Yes.
And we don't know why. We thought it was just
something,
but you find out it is a way she communicates.
Yes.
Her and her brother were talking through the clay.
Yeah, he finds this out by turning into the brother to soothe her when she's feeling upset about missing him.
Yeah.
And they touch jars, or he puts his hand in the jar, and they like have this like telepathic communication.
Yeah. And this is actually where he learns the valuable reason to become one together with the environment around him.
Yeah, basically. And he figures this out by he realizes that it wasn't a matter of making the boat. It was about surrounding the boat with things in a way. And so he basically goes into the jungle, grabs like branches, and he connects the branches to himself, and he basically branches out so he can sense everything around him beyond just the immediate. And he turns basically into like a tree. He turns into a giving tree, basically.
He's kind of like the tree of life type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then while that's happening, but before we see him like fully connected to this tree, Bon and Kahaku, they come back. They try to go look for him because it's been months. But basically, they want to see his progress.
Yeah.
And like basically, like half his body is like a tree.
Yeah, he soiled himself because he's never moved.
Yep, because it's been like 2 weeks or so.
No, it's been like a month or something.
It's been like a month, that type of thing.
Like that,
but he's able to have another body, just another area, like it just transfer his consciousness into that body
Yeah,
while the other body is there.
because everything is connected. When Bon and Kohaku get back to, they're like, was the forest this long? And he's been growing the forest beyond the boat, and the boat is now broken down and it's overcome with the forest. You know, it's like it's in a way it's symbolic of nature taking its course in life when you have an abandoned ship or something along those lines.
But Bon sees something in this because of it. He's seeing that he's losing his humanity because of this. Like he's focusing more on what he is, this basically this glowing immortal stone. I think he just fears he's gonna lose sight of what he was, or how he came to be, like how he was when they met.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna be just focusing on basically being this entity in a sense.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, it was good.
And basically, it's now time to prepare for this invasion.
But beforehand, they're like, "Oh, who's this girl?" They ask her, "Who's the girl?" They're like, "Oh, I found her. She's like from this like the mud village or something." And Kohaku knows immediately, like, the fabled mud village that's to like the very northeast of where we're at. And they're like, "Well, we got to return her." And so Fushi turns back into the boy and does the communication. They're like, "Well, I don't know where she lives, so let's find out." And does the communication. We find out that the Knockers destroyed her village and killed all of her descendants, and that her and her brother were the only ones left. And now her brother's passed away, so she's the last of her kind, basically.
Also, by the way, her name is Echo.
Yes, named her Echo after a cat because she loved the cat that was on the boat.
Right. But yeah, that was practically more or less the end of it, and that's basically core 1 of 2 Years Eternity.
I give this core a 4 out of 5.
Same. If it keeps up, it might be a 4.5. If it gets better,
I don't ever see it going to a 5 for me, but
it probably won't be a 5. But I think 4.5 would probably be the max if it keeps up this quality.
Yeah.
Unless something really fucking majestic happens in the next 10 episodes.
Yeah. No.
Well, for you.
No, it's no. I guess saying like, I know. I get what you're saying.
Okay,
yeah.
like, I'm like, no.
no, not like that. Dude. No, not like that. No, it's a solid 4. I'm enjoying this season far more than I enjoyed last season, even with the weirdness that was in the middle of the core.
Yeah, well, season 1 was in my top 10 when we did this, so
no, it'll probably.
Well, then again, we watch a lot more now than we did back then.
Did we? I know we did. I think I watched 60. We watched 61 anime in 20. I did personally. I watched 61 different animes in 2021. I'm currently at 74, and that's without fall. I'm sorry, without winter. So for calendar year 2021, I watched 61 before. Now I'm at 74.
Yeah, so we watched more this season. Yeah,
significantly, yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll grow.
That's what she said.
Yeah. All righty. Let's move on to the last continuation. My Hero Academia.
Fan-fucking-tastic episode.
The whole thing, it did not slip up.
I'm telling you, if we could have qualified this half of the core, it would have been in my top 10.
Hell, if the season was just this.
If the season was just this, it's already easily the best season of My Hero, and it's only halfway through. And if it was just this season, just 13 episodes, and that was that, dude, it would be in my top 10 of the year.
Yeah. But yeah, a good half of this was about Mr. Compress.
Yes.
And basically, it's his time to shine, like to help them escape.
Yes, and we get his backstory as well, like we have been doing with all these other characters, and it's just a good backstory as well.
The Creature Rejection Clan.
Yes.
They were annihilating religious people. But the thing overhaul, there was a fallout with that.
Yeah.
So basically, this made those groups merge.
Yes.
And that's something he really didn't like. He was struggling to like make this living.
Yes.
And it got to the point where basically he had nowhere else to turn. So he left that group.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's with Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like more of himself, like how he was before the merge, like how he was with this CRC group.
Yep.
And now it's time. It's time for the escape plan.
Yes.
And how does he do it, Ethan?
He takes his little compressed balls and he's able to. He basically uses his power. It's like to make things like kind of disappear, right, in a way. Or
Yeah. He was doing bits and pieces of
he was
geniuses of threads to
yeah.
weaken it.
Yeah, he basically tore pieces of his flesh so he can worm his way out to touch himself. And he touches himself, and then he's able to, with like breaking the pieces off his body, escape from the compress. He throws the balls, like his little compress balls, at who's the lizard guy?
What's that fucker?
I was gonna say Stain, but he's not Stain.
Yeah, Stain wannabe.
Yeah, Stain cosplay.
Yeah, Stain cosplay.
So he throws it at Stain cosplay and at Shigaraki, and then he also throws it at it was somebody else that he threw it at. Was it Dabi? Dabi and him?
I think it was Dabi. I think Dabi was still fighting.
Dabi was still fighting. No, but Dabi was about to get hit, right?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, he did it before he got hit. Okay.
Yeah, he did it right before he got hit. He was on the defensive, and I think it was Endeavor that was going to get him, right?
Yes. Yeah, Endeavor. Like he found after finally snapping out of it.
Yeah, and so, basically he's able to break them out, and throughout this he's just getting fucked up. He's getting fucked up, and then what's his face? Lemillion came over, fucked him up even more, and he got hurt. He takes off his mask because his conviction is so strong. He takes off the mask, and we see his face.
We finally see his face.
Not a bad looking face, and we find out as part of his backstory, he's the grandson of a of one of like the, I guess, nation's like Steelers or something like that. He's the great grandson or grandson of one of the thieves of like the nation, some shit like that. But basically, he injures himself significantly. He weakens himself quite significantly in order to save the League of Nations. And Toga to this point also has not come yet. And so we see. Did you find out the name of Stain Wannabe?
Yeah, his name's not pop up in the cast list.
Really?
Yeah. Let me
just type in League of Villains in a search.
All right.
All right. In the meantime, once he breaks out, Lemillion, like I said, fucks him up, and when he breaks out Shigaraki comes out, and Shigaraki's still trying his best to be himself, but what's his face, All For One, is still within his body, and basically All For One ends up taking it over. He's like, my will is his will and his will is my will, and he takes it over, and he's Spinner. Okay, so Spinner, he breaks out Spinner's with Shigaraki, and we get the essence of All For One. All For One is like, all right, we gotta go, like we gotta escape. And they're like, oh, so Toga hasn't come, and Spinner's pissed off. Spinner's like, oh, Toga hasn't come back. Compress is hurt as fuck. Like, are you really gonna leave your comrades? And All For One is like, yeah. Just
basically, yeah. It's like, fuck him. All he cares about is Shigaraki.
Basically, yeah. He's like, we need to arrest Shigaraki. You know, he's gonna pay for it by he's gonna pay for his loss for being incomplete by losing his comrades, which is really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess his entire goal was basically not going to take Shigaraki's. He wants to take over Shigaraki's body because his body is weak as fuck.
Yeah, and so then again, a couple of the heroes come over trying to do what they can, and they immediately get taken out by All For One. Lemillion gets fucking stabbed. He's out. Genus gets fucked up. He's out. Somebody else too, right? I think it was Ilya, right? I think it was Alita.
Everyone
Alita, and then the girl that does 100% with the little fucking beam from her hands. They all get fucked up. Everybody's getting fucked up while basically All For One tries to escape. Midoriya sees this, and he's like, move, and he realizes. So when he senses the danger, that's the fourth One For All's quirk, which was like danger imminent or something. That's what the name of the quirk is. Basically,
it's a spider sense.
Yeah, it's like it's a spider sense. It's tingly, you know. But because he hasn't gotten used to it, and it's so powerful, it hurts his brain. Like he's having like severe migraines. He can't stand up, including the pain of his broken limbs. Like he is fucked up. But he manages to find it within his soul because of the fact that he's thinking back. And he's like, for that brief moment when we were in the One For All realm, Shigaraki looked like he was in pain. Shigaraki looked like he was saying, save me, Midoriya, save me. And so he uses that to galvanize himself to try and stop All for One. At this point, he's not even mad at Shigaraki. Like, he's like, oh, he's like, what he's done is unforgivable. But it looked like he was saying, save me. And that's because of All for One. So he's like, All for One. And he's basically using his power to float and use Froggy style whip to like whip himself out. But then Shigaraki, Shigaraki, which is All for One, and that's what he used to fuck them up. I'm sorry, he used like some like electronic beam from his hand to shoot it out, and like basically like use like air pressure and whatnot to fucking blow them all away. He does the same thing with Midoriya, and they escape in the episode. I think it's the end of. Oh no, yeah, they escape, and then as that, and then basically the war is over. Like this battle is over. Like you see the casualties of the war, and very curious to see what they do next in the next arc.
Yeah, that's also in 2 weeks.
Yes, as well. Everything that is not concluding is coming out in 2 weeks. So the next episode, no, not the next. I think it's let me even go back. Yeah, so My Hero comes out in 8 days from now as we record. Mobile Suit Gundam 9 days, Boruto 9 days, Eternity 9 days. So we basically get a week off, and then Eminence is just like, fuck it, we're just gonna keep going the whole way.
Yep. Yeah, it gets out of the way.
Yeah. So, honestly, I don't think we did a good job explaining that because it's been a while since we've seen the episode. But because what we explained doesn't do it justice. This episode, along with the entire
season, it's something for you to see for yourself.
If you are watching My Hero Academia. It's a 5-star half. It's a 5-star half.
Yep, agreed. And again, the next arc is the Dark Deku arc.
Ooh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Dark Deku. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, that's going to be fun. So.
Ooh, we get pissed off fucking emo Deku.
I think it's more of guilt for, people dying, heroes dying.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, the fact he just wants to get stronger on his own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait for that.
We bitch from birth.
We bitch who had nothing from birth to now. All right, let's move on. We got some finales to go through.
We have a lot of them.
Yep.
Hey, we only had an hour 7. How we doing?
We're doing good. That's how we're doing, baby. Love Flops.
This ended strong.
Yes, I wish the quality before this was like that.
I know, dude. For real.
But yeah, picked up where we left off. Asahi is now alone after Emilia now being deleted. Delete. Exactly. All that happened.
I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete.
Obsolete, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my god.
Anyway,
that was such a stupid thing.
That was the best part of
I know it's the stupid greatest thing ever.
Impact Broken Universe is the best shit ever. AEW Broken Universe, the shits.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you came in at the wrong time. You came in when there was no crowd.
For real. Agreed.
And yeah, that was like, okay, this is useless. We're done here. But yeah, Asahi is like crying all this. And now, again, he has to go on to this next room alone.
Yes.
And he sees Aoi.
Yes.
And she's saying, like, I'm sorry to him.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he says, "Where's I?" It's like, look at my chest.
Yes, and he pulls him into her bosom, and we get a really sad flashback. Basically, we see the last months of Ai's life through her eyes, and so it starts off their Christmas shopping after school, and the charm necklace that we've seen in the past that that I was gonna say Deku, wow, that Asahi has. We find out where it came from. They were shopping. She wanted it, but she didn't have the money. She spent her allowance money. So he tells her, like, I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. He goes to the store, buys it for her, gives it to her. I loves it. She's like, put it on me. So he puts it on her. She's like, how do I look? And Asahi's like, you look cute. And it's a nice moment between them. But then all of a sudden, like, she has like a head pressure. Like she gets like a sudden headache, and she faints briefly into Asahi's arms. And Asahi's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I just got lightheaded. And she played it off. She's like, oh no, but what was that?
But yeah, we find out like she's at the doctor with the dad, and
No, you're skipping the part. You have to build this up too. You have to build
I
it
had
up.
to be fine.
You have to build it up. So she gets home. She's in discomfort as she's laying on the couch waiting for her dad to come home. Comes home after a late night, and dad's like, "Were you sleeping?" And she's like, "Kinda, but it's okay. I'm gonna make dinner for you." And he's like, "No, you don't have to. If you're tired, stay resting." And she's like, "No, it's okay." Then it happens again, and she collapses on the floor in front of her father. They take her to the doctor. They run some brain scans. They don't ever clarify what it is. We can surmise it could have been brain cancer.
I think it's a brain tumor.
Yeah, we can surmise it's brain cancer. So she gets brain cancer. She only has 3 months to live. It's too advanced, and the father is devastated. And a tearful eye.
I was like, oh, it's okay. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, and so she's like, "Let's go home." She doesn't stay at home very long. She ends up in the hospital. Asahi comes and she's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, it's just a battle of exhaustion. It's okay."
Yeah, so she never tells him.
Yeah, and we see it just progressively get worse. And that's really the sad part of this portion, is that she didn't want to worry Asahi, because she knew Asahi cared for him so much.
Yeah,
and
it got to the point where she even put makeup.
Yeah, when he would come, she's like, "I'm on the way." Okay. And she would get up and her eyes are sunken in. So she would put the makeup on so it didn't look like she was like dying. And then eventually, there's one day where Asahi's in a good mood talking to her, and she's just not good. And Asahi's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna go off. I'll see you tomorrow." And she's like, "Hey, you don't have to come anymore."
And yeah, he's saying like basically, like, "Oh yeah, you got exams coming up."
Yeah, don't worry about it. And so he doesn't come anymore. And again, things progressively get worse. She's on a ventilator at this point. And she begins to cry, and she's alone also, because we don't ever see her father in this for some reason.
And the fact that the only person that was visiting her every day, she just basically told him to go away.
So in her last moments, she's on a ventilator. She's struggling to breathe. She begins to cry, say she's scared, and she looks outside. And earlier in the episode, when Asahi was coming to the hospital, she's like, "Hey, let's go see the cherry blossoms together. Promise?" Promise. We saw that scene earlier in the season, and we see her look outside. The cherry blossoms are beginning to form, and she looks at a video of Asahi that she took. And it was them the previous year in front of the cherry blossoms, and Asahi poses for a picture, but it was a video. And she begins to bawl, and she starts to write Asahi, "I miss you." And then she deletes the message, and she's like, "Let's go see the cherry blossoms. Promise?" Sends the message, and she slowly stops crying. With a single tear in her eye, she passes away.
Yep. And so, yeah, after all this flashback happens, Aoi takes Asahi to CI, and they meet the cherry blossom. So they all started talking. I just talks herself basically the whole thing. It was basically to talk about how she wants him to like move on, like stop.
Yeah, forget about me. Yeah, stop sulking. Forget about me. You have your whole life to live for.
And he just says, "How can I do that?" Like,
yeah,
we've been together since like babies.
And he goes over every single scenario that we saw from the other 5 girls that they experienced in those moments that made them all fall in love with Asahi. He goes over them, and Asahi confesses, like, "I loved you. I've loved you since I was a child. It's a bit late me telling you now, but I love you, and I'll never forget you because I love you." And I begins to cry. I confesses, "I've loved you, and I couldn't, bring myself to tell you." And they just hold each other. And as they're holding each other, what's it called? They were in the nighttime. So then the nighttime fades as they hold each other crying, and it turns into day. And they go from being in like a random spot with the tree to being in the center of Tokyo Park.
Yeah.
Near the tree. And they lean in and they kiss each other. And as they kiss each other, we get a montage of their entire lives together, all the happy parts, all the jokes, the
everything.
As and there's a nice, beautiful song that plays, that's basically narrating the montage. And after they're done kissing, eye begins to fade. Symbolic of the fact that her guilt and her sadness of not being able to tell Asahi.
But basically she wanted to say goodbye.
She wanted to say goodbye. Yeah, she wanted to tell him everything that was on her chest, and they got to basically grieve together and share their real moments. And eye fades away.
And no, before that though, she gives him the necklace.
Yeah, the necklace, and he wakes up with it later.
Yeah, and he wakes up, the necklace in his hand,
and he's butt naked.
He's fucking naked, of course.
Of course, a little bit of the fan service.
Yeah.
But no, the rest of the episode is also really good. We get a flash forward now. Asahi graduated high school. He's in college. He's got a couple friends. The friends are like, "Hey, we got into college. Let's go celebrate, drinking party."
He's like, not today.
And they're like, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll make it up to you guys." And he goes over to Ai's grave, puts flowers on the grave, says, "Hey, I'm doing really well. I got into college, thinking about you." And he goes home to his 1-bedroom apartment, and there's 4 boxes in the apartment.
Yeah, there was 4 boxes.
And Matt, what were in those 4 boxes?
Well, before that, he brings about these giant boxes. Out comes the girls. Amelia, Karen, Magfa, Irina, not Aoi. The other 4. Basically, what Yoshino did, she backed up their data, their consciousness, all this, and she was able to create physical robot bodies of them. As a thank you gets for and an AI
Yeah, so that's the other thing we didn't mention is that on the same day of her high school graduation and the same day that he gets the girls back, we get the introduction of a new AI system named Aoi instead of I. Yep. And it's basically the complete version of AI that's able to experience human emotion thanks to their research and their development.
So they're able to get all that data to actually do this properly.
Yeah, and so the end of the episode, they're all cuddling on Asahi, and we see them reflect. We see Yoshino and her assistant reflecting, and they're like, "Still, we don't know why Aoi didn't want to do that." She's like, she was insistent. She walked to the house on her own. The episode ends with her ringing the doorbell and smiling at the camera. Credits.
Yep.
Solid end. Emotional end. A very emotional end. You can like I was trying to say, basically, I wrote this in my review of the show, but basically, it's a good. Well, should I save this for the rankings? I'll save it for the rankings.
Yeah.
I'll save it for the rankings. It's still a 3 out of 5, but it bumped it from a low 3 to like a very high mid.
I gave it a 3 1/4.
I give it 3.5.
Okay, very weird from what we expected. Like we thought it to be.
It went from funny to funny,
sexy to weird, and then depressing.
To what the fuck? To depressing to a happy ending. 5 stages of love flops.
5 stages of grief.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't regret watching it though.
I can't say I regret it, but I can't say like I'm like, yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm fucking mad at him. Gets fucking 5 robots to fuck. That is many hard. Whatever.
I would love to know, like, with our man-made pussies, somewhere.
I'm sure they're very. I'm sure they're very fuckable. But the fact he gets them all.
I feel like somewhere.
Fuck you.
I feel like somewhere in Twitterverse, the trans community is going to be pissed off because somebody's going to make that man-made pussy joke and get offended.
Why are you killing the vibe? I was having a good time, Ethan.
Man-made pussy. Would you fuck a man? You would fuck a man-made pussy, right? Yeah, have you ever done anything with a trans person? You don't have to share.
Trans female, yes. I have not been with a trans male yet. I'm not.
Hold on. Let's specify. So, a cis male that turned female, or a cis female that turned male when you say trans male?
Female that turned male.
Okay, you haven't been one of those.
I have not been with that, no.
Okay, but you've been with a trans woman who was once a cis
male. So I'm male at birth, yes. And I kind of was not happy with that one. I talked about it in the group.
Clearly, he says you're engaged all this time later, so clearly that didn't work out.
Well, no, it was just how creepy and stalky she was. And then just it was in the kink community too. It was in the cake party too, and she sucked at that. well, they now. Sorry, I apologize. They now, but
see, man, you know my struggle now with me and Bash. You know my struggle.
Yeah, and this person told Bash before, like, oh yeah, this is my dom. Don't have him. That little dated Bash later.
And here you are, married all this time later.
Yeah, exactly.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty, moving on. Uzaki-chan.
How did I expose a little bit of your personal life? Sorry about that. Baby.
All good. It's all good here. Let's move on. Yeah, Uzaki.
Another good ending.
We get to Fujio. He's outside. He's at the convenience store, and he's actually feeling bad.
Yeah,
of everything he did to Sakurai. Is like he's really not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He genuinely loves my daughter. And
I put him through all that shit just to cover my ass.
And he drank. He got fucked up because of me. And even though in the end it didn't work out because he still let his feelings go in a way, you know, he's a really good kid. So he walks in the door, and what does he see when he walks in the door, Matt?
Basically, he says, as soon as he says, I'll lay off him for now.
Yeah,
he's bent over naked while Uzaki.
No, he's still got boxes on.
Okay, but I'm saying like he's bent over, like his ass is up a bit. While
he's in straight doggy.
Yeah,
he's in straight doggy, drunk as a skunk in doggy, and fucking what's her face? The little sister. Yeah.
Yes.
What's her name? Yeah, I was gonna say Yagomi. It's not Yagomi. God damn it.
Yanagi.
Yanagi's taking pictures.
She's taking pictures.
Uzaki's like, I can't get his pants off, and you see
the wife, you see
Suki fucking patting down the clothes, and fucking Fujio's like, Nani?
And she's like, why aren't you stopping? Like, this is the best I could do. I tried stopping the girls, but this is the best I could do.
And I'm drunk too.
Yeah, they're all drunk except for Yanagi, and then we get to before it happened. It was basically they're playing cards or like this type of thing.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where Sakurai passed out.
He was passing out, and then Uzaki's like, let's make this more fun. Every hand you lose, you strip. And so he lost every hand because he's not good at cards because he's drunk. And he
really couldn't strip.
Yeah. So they stripped him for him.
Yeah.
And Yanagi's taking pictures, sending them over to
Ami.
And I'm sure Ami jilled to those that night.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna get to that in a bit, but
straight.
But yeah, Fujio's just like, hey, leave him alone. Like, so it got to the point where
Sakurai's like, dressed him up. God damn it, put his clothes back on.
Yeah, like, Sakurai's awake now. Hannah's sobered up.
He's still shit faced. No, he's still shit faced.
Hannah sobered up. He's still shit faced.
He's still shit faced, but he's not like falling over. He's not vomiting.
So basically,
and they're like, can you walk home? And then she's like, no. Uzaki's like, no, don't do that. He's bigger than me, so if he falls, then I'm fucked. He's like, let's call a cab. Dad, you come with me in case he falls, because again, he's heavy, and we'll take him home. Okay, no problem. They call the cab. Uzaki brings him up to the apartment. Sakurai's still drunk, and Sakurai basically what's it called? Turns in front of Uzaki, and they share a nice moment between each other. And then Sakurai.
Sakurai, like he starts apologizing, like I was like, I'm sorry, I'm pathetic, and I promise I'll be better. I'm like, no, like that's not what she was trying to say.
Yeah, but then Uzaki, to her credit, was like you can cause all the problems in the world for me. I don't mind. And that was very nice.
Yeah, and now she starts to try to get him in bed, and he falls down.
He falls over on top of her.
And he holds himself like kind of like pinning her almost just to keep himself up.
Yeah.
And he was about to kiss her.
This is the flash forward scene, by the way, from episode 1.
Okay.
This is the flash forward scene from episode 1. They fall over, and she's on bottom, he's on top, and he's got this face, like this really like I'm really gonna do this face. And Uzaki is super nervous, but she resigns herself, like, senpai, take me. There's basically like the face
like she was ready, like she's ready to accept it. If it happens, but as Sakurai leans over, he flops next to her, passed
face
out. First
onto the pillow, knocked the fuck out.
Yep. That's all.
Meanwhile, Fujio's worrying, like, she's taking a long time. What's going on up there?
And then eventually Hana comes in like, oh yeah, all this happened. And
I'm sorry, what? If it was a hentai, that's definitely what we would have seen. Senpai, you can't go to sleep with that. Let me take care of it.
Yeah, but
it's so big when you're drunk.
Yeah, and then Suki would take it out of context.
Oh my god. Side note, dude. Unrelated. Speaking of drunk sex, I was only tipsy last night, and like, bro, tipsy me on my second nut of the night. I'm a fucking machine, bro. I fucked for an hour and still didn't nut. I had to take care of myself at the end. Bro, that
Bro.
was fucking wild, bro. Let me tell you what.
No,
God damn.
it's not. But yeah. All right, but
that's probably Sakurai.
We go to the next day. Hana's at work, and then so Ami, she shows Hana the pictures of Sakurai naked and half naked, and so she starts giving him money. First is like $50.
Yep.
For the $50 for the nudes, for the light nudes. She enjoyed herself. She rubbed one up before bed.
Maybe two.
Oh yeah, so like also this is for your sister for sending the pictures.
Yep.
Like no, you don't waste your money on stuff like that. Like just put it to something more meaningful, you know? Like the same is like you're gonna be a future manager, for crying out loud.
Is this what you would do? And she's like,
yes, here's more.
Here's more. Here's 100. You're right.
That was 150 now. Like she was like, here, one for you, one for your sister, one for Sakurai.
Oh my god. And then speaking of Sakurai, he walks in the door and everybody's like, ooh, about what happened. He goes over to Uzaki and he's like, hey, did I do anything embarrassing last night? I don't remember anything.
And
he blacked out.
Yeah, but you find out later on he totally did. He totally
remembers everything. He's like, how could I?
But he was so ashamed of himself and all that shit.
Yeah.
So so it will go off a bit like they're walking, like after work, they work together, they walk home, they go their separate ways.
Yep.
And now it's getting to the point where there's a festival going on.
Yep. So they flash forward into the new year because earlier in the episode they were like, "Oh, what are we plans for New Year's?" And they're like, Itsuhiko wanted everybody to go to pay our first shrine visit and watch the sunset or the sunrise. And they're like, okay, let's do that. So basically, Sakurai meets Itsuhiko and Tensho early, and he's like, hey, I need advice. I found out recently someone likes me, and I don't know what to do. And they're like, oh, well, for posterity's sake, who is it that likes you? And they're like, oh, he's like, I found out Uzaki liked me. And everyone felt like
Itsuhito was like, dude, we know.
Everyone knows. Are you so stupid? You just figured this out? He blew up on him. It was hilarious.
Yep. And
even Tensho knows, right, Tensho? Yeah, everybody knows.
I love how they just hang out with him outside of work. He's like twice their age. Like he's just that cool enough to hang out with outside of work.
Bro. He's cool.
Exactly. Like I would hang out with dude, fuck this.
Oh hell yeah, bro.
But yeah, they're all like talking about, and then Itsuhito was like telling Sakurai, like, you gotta tell her. Today is the day, basically. You gotta do it.
Yeah, you can't keep stalling. You already know, and
like you don't want to be too late. She might go for someone else, type of thing.
Yep.
Like how they implanted that in Hannah's mind a few episodes ago.
Yeah, so the night goes well, sunrise happens, and the episode ends with the sunrise happening, and he holds Uzaki's hand in the watching point that they're at, and he begins to tell her, and then he's like, nah, never mind. Let's keep hanging out. Yeah, there's more fun times to hang out. And
we got blue balled again.
You got blue balled again. But like I called it. I said that they're gonna.
I know. I was like, all right,
graduates, and then they'll get together when he graduates.
One more season. One more
season.
I gave it a 3.5.
I think I gave it a 4. A low 4.
Again, not as good as season 1, but the last few episodes were strong.
Yeah, the last few episodes definitely made it up to the season 1 level for sure. Where is the fucking JoJo? My Hero, Purple, Inner Palace, Eternity, where the fuck? Here it is, Uzaki-chan. I gave it a open list. I gave it a 4. It's a low 4.
Alrighty. Very good. All right, moving on now. Married couple.
Oh, more blue balls.
More blue balls and not the good.
No, I will say the end, we'll get to it, but the end I loved. Absolutely loved the end. It was so good.
We'll get to that. But what'd you call it? Now, Minami, he's out of the picture.
Minami's out. Yep.
Basically, Akari got friend zoned. Shiori made her move.
Yep. And Shiori's becoming more bold.
More bold, yes. And
called that Starman. Called that shit. She was gonna be bold. Called that shit.
Yeah, after that kiss, kind of had to.
Yeah, no turning back now.
Yep. And then it's now basically school break.
Yes.
So what you call it? Jiro is not living with Akari because school's out.
Everybody's at home.
So basically, he starts to go to the bookstore, get some new manga, restock, and he's thinking about the moment with Shiori. Like, what does she mean by basically?
Well, no, he was thinking about that beforehand, before he went to the bookstore. But
I'm saying that, but it's still in his mind. It's still
basically both of them. They're like, oh, wonder what Shiori's thinking. The other one's like, I
wonder
or
no, it's all that's like, what does she mean by she want to be more than just a childhood friend?
He's an idiot.
I know. I'll get to Jiro later.
So annoyed.
Yeah, but all that was going on. He goes to grab the book that the manga he's looking for. Shiori's hand's also on top of it. They see each other. Oh, what a coincidence!
And it is a coincidence.
I know, but basically, and then Jiro thinks, oh, hey, you like manga?
Yeah, she's like, no, it's for my brother. My brother.
Like jazz? You like jazz? But like, no, this is for my brother. Like, he told me to pick it up for him while I was out running errands. And then Jiro's like, you know what? Here, you can have it. Yeah, I can always wait. Like, your brother can have it.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, my brother's been asking for you. Like, huh? Like, yeah, I told him about you. Like, you did? You talk about me? And he's like, yeah, I mentioned you. And he's like, oh, he's been asking about you now, so he wants you to come over. I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, hey, and as they go out, they walk out the store, it begins to pour rain. And neither of them had umbrellas because they didn't expect it to be pouring rain. It's a summer shower. And so bold ass fucking Shiori is like, hey, you want to wait out the storm at the house by the school? Yes. And Jiro's like, would you want me there?
You want to do it?
Yeah, like, okay. So they waited out, and so Shiori's reading a book. What's his face? Jiro's reading the manga, and the whole time Jiro's just thinking like, I can't read this fucking manga. All I can think about is Shiori, and starts like pointing out like she's so slender, she's so beautiful, she has beautiful hair,
she's got tits,
skin, her breath. Like he's still just eyeing her, and Shiori looks at him like, do I have something weird on my face? And he's like, no, I was just wondering what book you were reading. And she starts telling him about the book, and then she gets nervous, and she's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Okay. She goes to the bathroom, and she's like, oh my god, I gotta look pretty and whatnot, whatever.
Yep.
And then what happened after she came out the bathroom? I don't recall.
They were mostly just hanging out normally.
Yeah, and then the sun comes out, and they're out in the balcony, and basically
now she always goes. Now she's like, so it was nothing. Like she was looking at her, so everything we did was kind of that once, or
yeah. And Jiro was gonna ask her the question, like, yo, so what's going on with us? Like he was gonna basically put it out in the open. And then as he's like saying, like, hey, he says like, oh, Shiori's like, hey, look at this picture I took of us at the beach. Like the beach was really cool, right? Yeah, the beach was really cool. She shows the picture of everybody there. Jiro sees Akari, and I can guess everything. And Shiori's like, oh, what were you gonna tell me? And he's like, oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
And she's like, so good.
Yeah, basically. And so meanwhile, Jiro goes back home after that and is thinking like, oh, I spent the whole day at Akari. Like, this is great. And he what's it called? He gets a bunch of text messages, a bunch of things. He's like, this goddamn what's his face? Jama?
His friend, the virgin delinquent. Kamo.
Goddamn Kamo. Like, I'm fucking busy. And he sees it's Akari blowing him up. And wow. Okay. And so Akari's like, I'm bored. And Jiro's like, I'm bored too. And Akari's like, great, we're both bored. See you at the station in 2 hours.
It's a date, by the way.
And he's like, what? And he's like, I could just say that I'm not bored. He's like, no, all right. So he begrudgingly gets up out of bed, and he goes over to meet at the station. Akari's late. He's about to say, fuck this bitch, and leave. Akari shows up. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm late. I left. I was like, I was busy trying to get pretty, and then I left my phone when I got to the station, so I had to turn back, get my phone, and I'm sorry.
And she ran here,
and she ran to see Jiro, so she was only 15 minutes late instead. And she's like, how do I look? And Jiro's all embarrassed, and she's like, oh, you look cute. And Akari's like, well, good, because this is the type of clothes that you told me that you like seeing girls in.
And this outfit is for you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't, I was thinking about you when I bought the outfit. I don't normally wear this type of stuff. Jiro's super embarrassed, and Akari's like, well, let's go. I got a bunch of things I want to do. and they go on a bunch of couple stuff. They go and have they have ice cream together. They go to where else
Clothes
do they go?
shopping.
Yeah, they go clothes shop. They do a bunch of cute little things together, basically.
Yeah, and then we see them like walking home, that type of thing.
Yep.
And who's there, Ethan?
As they're walking home, Shiori pops up. Shiori was busy getting groceries for her place.
And then what are you guys doing here? What are you guys doing together? Oh, we were hanging out, and Akari was talking about how she was on her way to go to the shrine before going home.
She wanted a stamp from the shrine.
Yep.
Cue Kanasagawa.
Yep. Or, and then then she asked Shiori to basically tag along.
No, Shiori asked.
She asked you. Sorry, she invited herself.
She's like, "Hey, I wanted to pay my respects to the shrine. Do you mind if I come with you guys?" And like, okay. And then Shiori's like, "Hey, do you want to race?" And they're like, "Okay." And keep in mind, Akari's in fucking wedges. Akari's in wedges, and they're like, "All right." They give Jiro all their clothes. Jiro's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
And go. And this is where I thought it was such a tremendous end, because they play basically, again, another beautiful song. And as the two of them are tunnel vision trying to get up to the shrine. It's a long run. But over the course of the long run, we see a lot of symbolic meanings in the scenes that they're passing. And you basically see the stages of a beautiful romance. The first stage they see is a couple kissing. The second stage they pass is a couple walking out of the church after getting married. The third stage that they pass is a couple walking out the hospital after having their child. And when they finally reach the top of the steps, they're out of breath. And an old woman comes to them. They're like, "Hey, are you girls okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, we just raced here." And they're like, "Okay, well, calm yourself down, be careful." And then she's like, "Jiro, come on." And it's an old man. And old man grabs her hand, and the old woman dotes on him, like saying, "Be careful, you don't want to fall down the stairs." And she's like, "I know, honey." And the girls look at Jiro, they're like, "Jiro," and they're like, "He kind of reminds us of Jiro, huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, kind of does." Meanwhile, their Jiro's walking up the stairs, exhausted, like he's out of breath, like, "Well, I can't believe you did this." And as they pay their respects, Jiro realizes like this shrine is known for granting relationships. And so everybody prays, and I forget, what did Jiro ask for? Did they say?
I don't think so.
I don't think they went over what they said, but basically that's how the episode ends, with them basically confirming a rivalry between the two girls over the man that they love, and Jiro's still an idiot.
Yeah, I hated Jiro.
Yeah, I did not give him best boy. Spoiler alert.
No, he didn't get anything.
He didn't get anything.
But no, the show itself, I gave it a 4.
Likewise, gave it a 4.
There's some good stuff. There's some tropes. Again, the dense MC of this harem rom-com.
Yep.
But he was nothing special with it.
Yep.
But we all know you watch it for the girls. Shiori, she had no personality till like the second half.
I liked Shiori. I'm always
I like her too, but I'm saying like the first half she really didn't.
She was Jiro. Much. The first half she was Jiro. She was female Jiro. She was Jiro with a vagina.
Yeah, so it was just basically about Akari being a whore, but
being a whore,
tsundere whore.
I'll get more into why I gave it a 4 when we go over the.
Well, we do our countdown. Yeah,
we'll do our countdown.
So we're not going into full detail how we fought to,
because I can give you guys full detail. I've written my reviews that I'm going to be posting on Instagram over the course of time. I'm slowly catching up. I finally posted the penultimate from summer on my Instagram, like Horus.
Yes.
And now I got to post the final one. The next one is Made in Abyss, and that's another long one. But regardless, we'll get into details momentarily, guys. Stick around.
Right. Anyway,
wait,
what?
I said stick around, and I said onegaishimasu, which means please.
Okay. Alrighty. Spy Family.
Pretty good.
This I was waiting for this. We finally got it. That first contest. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, this focuses on Damien a bit mostly.
Yeah.
Because it's just like this parent teacher type meeting like of alumni.
No, it's the what's it called? The Imperial Scholar.
I thought it was the same school. Sorry, if I was like
no. It was the Imperial Scholar. They go to the same school, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so I said it's basically family's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's mostly for them. Students can come if they want to.
Rich people. Yep.
So Damien.
No, it's not students come if they want to. It's only the Imperial Scholar students, their families, and then like rich guests, VIP guests.
Yeah.
And they got full guests because over the course of time, people have tried to infiltrate it. And so the school is paid for fucking armed guards with fucking machine guns standing by. They're doing ID checks and invitation checks. They're doing full body scans and full body pat downs. Like, nobody that's not supposed to be in that bitch is going to get in that bitch. And throughout this entire time, we see Lloyd staking out. He basically, he pretends
he's spying around. Yeah, he's pretending to be a janitor. He's trying to get info, basically.
Teacher.
But I'm saying, like, he's basically there. Like, he hears about this. He thinks about Damien's father, the guy he's looking for, is showing up.
Yep, Desmond.
So basically, she's trying to get info about, like, is Damien going to meet? So Damien did have that plan, like he wants to meet his dad in a certain area.
And the reason why we found out about this plan is because Anya was spying, and Anya overheard his internal strife about how he wanted to see.
So now she's
the father. And
so
she's like, I want to be useful to Chi-Chi.
And then Becky is just basically like, "Oh, you're stalking your lover? How creepy!"
Bro, Becky's gonna be a whore when she grows up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that about a 6-year-old.
What romance novels has she been reading?
Bro, like she's gonna fucking be super active. They better put her on birth control ASAP.
Or just don't get her, or have her stay away from older men.
Bro.
Yeah. Oh, well, we can't stop that now, but but yeah, now Damien's like having second thoughts, like, oh, my dad's not gonna show up. I don't want to do this. I should cancel.
Yep.
And then Anya steps in.
Yep.
And then she starts like talking to Desmond.
Oh, well, you should back up because the reason why he even asked for the meeting in the first place is because his brother, who's an Imperial Scholar, is like, hey, you're going to the Imperial Scholar thing, right? Yeah. Dad's coming, right? Yeah. Can you do me a favor and tell him to meet me out in the courtyard? I want to talk to him. And he's like, I can't promise anything. He's busy, but I'll tell him. All right.
Yeah,
bye.
basically, he's clients only.
Yeah. His brother sounds like a fucking dick too.
Yeah. So I can't help but feel bad for him a little.
Yeah, you do. You learn to empathize with Damien. I certainly have.
Yeah, it's like, oh, geez, like he just wants to spend time with his dad. That's really it. Well, even though he doesn't know anything that's going on with him either.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Anya, with her zero intelligence, is like trying to pep up Damien. All of a sudden, it led to what are we talking about again?
Yeah, but Lloyd is overhearing the conversation and is like, look, she's like, I don't think you meant to do that, but thanks for being helpful.
Yeah, Anya saves the world part 2. But basically, then Damien, of course, starts bad mouthing Anya. Then Anya's like to Becky, I'm going to go punch him again.
Yeah, and they're like, no, you're going to get expelled. Becky was a G there. Becky was her friend there. Like, no, don't do that shit. You're going to get fucking expelled.
Yeah, exactly.
That happened to me once. We got into like an argument at a bar. And my friend's like, I'm going to shoot this motherfucker. I'm like, let's not do that.
Yes.
He's like, I got the gun in the car. I was like, I know you do. Let's not use it.
But anyway, we go on. It's the next day. It's the thing that's going on. And of course, we see the man finally in person.
You're skipping a point that basically the shit talk that fucking that Anya did to Damien was like, oh, you're scared of your father. You shouldn't be scared. I'm not scared of my father, even when I have really shitty grades.
It's like, I tell him. And it riled up Damien. Like, I'm not scared of my father. Come on, I'm gonna go wait for him at the courthouse. Becky's like, oh, are you going to wait? And Anya's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait with Damien. Like 15 minutes later, she knocks the fuck out. And Becky's like, you weren't serious. Hey, driver, let's take her home. Okay, as you wish. Takes her home. Okay, like, yeah, now she's gone. She's out of the picture.
Yeah.
Lloyd is staking around. We see Desmond. He's surrounded by guards.
Yes, but no, you're also skipping a point. Oh my God, you're skipping a point. Lloyd, after Anya left, Lloyd pops out as himself and was like, "Oh, like, hey, I'm looking for a bean, like a thing." And
that's right. That's right. He talks to Damien.
He talks to Damien, and he's like, "Oh, you happen to be Damien Desmond?" Or Damien, whatever the fuck his last name is. He's like, yeah, I am. He's like, I'm so sorry. Bows to him and says, like, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience on your call. I punch you in the face. You're sure to be pissed off. Like, I'll do whatever. Blah blah blah. And then they start having a little bit of a heartfelt conversation. And as they're having the heartfelt conversation, now Desmond shows up.
Yep, he shows up. He has like Imperial type guards around him. Did you notice the scars around his head?
I don't think those are scars.
No, like surgical like type. All around his head.
I didn't see that. No, I thought they were parts. Like you know how like you'll shave like a line in your head.
No,
That's what I thought
no,
they
it
were.
was that was like line, line. Like he had surgery done.
Oh no, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so I wonder what that
Well, I
type
mean,
of
that's
thing.
why he looks fucking bug-eyed. He's like,
Yeah, so I wonder if it's like he's like type of like brainwashed, like someone got to him and now he's a pawn, or
wouldn't shock me.
no. So yeah, his talks are basically short and sweet. He like talks to Damien for a little bit, but Lloyd eventually he pops in.
Yeah.
And he starts like apologizing for Anya.
Yeah.
And of course Desmond just like brushes off like, "Oh, it's fine." Like
Kids being kids. Yeah. No
problem.
problem.
Like he does not care. He's not showing emotion or anything.
Yeah, and that upsets Damien. Like Damien's like, oh, he doesn't give a fuck about me. And so he starts trying to rile him up, like, you know, like, hey, like that it besmirched our name, blah, da, 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 da. And basically Desmond's like, shut the fuck up, kid. And Damien like fucking shuts the fuck up. But Lloyd's plan throughout this entire time is like, listen, like I'm not gonna be able to talk to him in the Imperial Scholar Ball. So I want to have communication with him. I want him to remember my name, Lloyd Forger.
Yep.
And they start having a back and forth about political affairs and the issues of raising children.
Yeah,
and
this about family.
Yeah, about family, and it kind of gets to Damien, Desmond a little bit, but then he's like, Forger is your name, right? And he's like, yes, Lloyd Forger. And he's like, you're an interesting fellow. I kind of like you. And so he's like, oh, well, I'm going to leave, you know? And so he dips out eventually when the conversation kind of dies.
And then
so Desmond goes to Damien and is like, so what is it you wanted to tell me? And he goes, nothing. And he's like, okay.
Desmond starts to walk away, but then Damien's like, hey, I won this contest type of thing.
Like, I won the contest. I'm doing
he was talking about himself.
Yeah, he wanted his father to love him and appreciate him. And he's like, I got a Stella, you know, I won this grand prize. I got a 50 in spelling, but you know, I'm still working really hard and I really want to be an Imperial Scholar so you can come see me here at this ball one day. And Desmond's like, well, good. All right, cool. Good job, kid. Keep up the good work. Don't let us down.
And that was it for that. Like we don't see Desmond again for now.
But Desmond's happy and Lloyd is like, oh, you know, so, and it's a nice moment because he's like, oh, it's the simple things. You know, but it's the simple things, but it's
it's something that needed to happen.
Yeah,
the season ended.
Everybody grew. We get our first interaction with Desmond. Damien grows and gets some sort of cheer from his father. Lloyd gets both the satisfaction of having that first interaction with Desmond as well as
and actually appreciating his fake family.
Yeah, his family, the family life. Yeah, and he returns home. Anya's still knocked the fuck out.
Oh yeah, we see a little thing where basically Becky and the maid drop off.
Yeah,
Anya to your
delivery.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah, I was like, you left him out in the yard. Oh, the crazy thing. What do you think? Yep, Worf.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I like the season better than I like season 1.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is a solid 4. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't wait for season 2 and the movie to come out.
I can't say I can't wait, but I will certainly be watching.
Yeah. Well, again, it's different for me than you, but yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it. No, it's not like I'm just like, oh, this fucking shit. Even though I don't like Anya, you know, I appreciate Anya in several moments here. Just like I appreciate her you know, there's always moments of Anya I appreciate. Consistent Anya, mid.
QMJ. Alrighty.
Mid.
All right, we got 4 more.
I know.
We're
back on track, Matt.
You ready for bromance?
Yes.
Yes, I was waiting for this one.
I'm sure you were.
We picked up where we left off. Aki basically about to get fucked up.
Wait, you didn't even say what we're talking about. We're talking about Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man, the finale of Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
All right, but again, we picked up where we left off. Aki getting fucked up.
Yep.
He can't hurt this ghost demon.
Nope. He's getting choked to death.
And as he was choking to death,
a flashback.
Yeah, a flashback with Himeno, Angel's favorite character.
From first person view. I mean, it's a lot of people's favorite characters. Yo, I would love
I said it's Angel's favorite, even though he said he's glad.
So she lost vision in her eye. Does she still have her eye? Because then you could skull fuck her, right? She has no eye.
I think it's.
Would you ever skull fuck somebody that doesn't have an eye?
No.
I would be very curious to try and put my dick in there and see what would happen.
No, I think
Imagine your dick's like touching a fucking brain.
As I say, I think it's there, but not.
It's
like,
not
it's
usable.
physically there, just like no like
there's no
iris and stuff like that. Pupil.
Yeah.
And
I'm
just,
trying to be funny, Matt.
I know you want to skull fuck. Man, ask your future wife. I don't know.
No, she doesn't like it. Like I tried doing a little bit. She's like, no, I'm choking on it. I'm like, it's part of
ask
part of the
her,
deal, but okay.
Well, ask her if she can take an eye out for just a minute. Just
fucking glass eye.
Yes.
Like, okay, baby.
Yep. Well, it'll get face fucking a whole new medium, but
literally,
yes. But
anyway,
he got the dying is gay flashback. Say, hey, don't give up type of shit. It's basically about before Aki had his first cigarette. Like, oh yeah, like I'll take the cigarette away for now.
No, so she's like, oh, do the cigarette. We get the scene basically where it's like,
they're having dinner.
And then we didn't get this part in the first scene was that Aki's like, he's like, you're terrible giving a cigarette to an underage guy. And she's like, what? You're underage? He's like, oh, no, we can't have that. She's like, I'll take it away. She's like, I'll take the cigarette for now and I'll give it back to you when you're ready to start an addiction.
Yeah, basically. And then
which was very sensual in a way too when you think about
it. And then we get like we go back to where we were, and there's a stuff that says in the cigarette. Like,
no, so Aki's like he's composing himself, and the ghost demon only has its hand out, and he puts his hand out and he gets the cigarette. He rolls the cigarette around, and the cigarette says "Easy Revenge."
Yeah, and then Aki put two and two together. It's basically.
No, he didn't put two and two together, but
I'm saying like he understands. It calms down. He understands that basically this demon sees through fear.
Yes, and so he doesn't have any more fear, and the demon just stands there politely, and Aki beheads it.
Yeah,
and what's it called? What's her face?
The girl that was the girl that had the snake. What's her name?
I think it was like Samitami or something like that. It was similar to Sayat's Kamitani because it was like
Akane.
Okay, so she was about to call the heavy, and
then Kobeni.
Akari is like, not Akari. Wow, Aki is like, don't kill her, and you see Kobemi behind her with a knife.
Like what? Like where does she come from?
Savage. That was actually a good moment, and I chuckled. They're like, Aki's like, Kobemi, why did you stay in public service? And she's like, well, bonuses are coming up.
Yeah. Well, the blowjob demon needs money, so
the blowjob demon. I'm done.
That's a thing.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, no, they don't do it yet, but yeah.
Is its nickname the Guac 10,000?
No,
the blowjob demon, hey, you know?
Oh, well, yeah, stop it. But
10,000, motherfucker.
But as all right, now we go to fucking Denji and Powers.
Oh God,
they're in the elevator.
Fucking idiot.
I know. Yeah, Power is eating the arm of a zombie. Then he's like, "What the fuck? That's gross."
Vomit.
It's like food is food. Shut up. So all that is happening, and then,
they get to the 7th floor, and there's a bunch of zombies. And then
Power's like, I could take them all on.
No, literally, no. What's his face? Denji is like, hey, they haven't caught on to us. Don't say anything. Let's try and.
So Power just screams, "Listen up,
I'm Power, and I'm going to kill you all." And Denji's like,
quick, Denji, follow my lead. I'll show you a thing or two.
Denji's like, this bitch, close door.
Yeah, no, he didn't push the button. It just closed when she got out. And she starts fighting them, thinking that Denji is still behind her. All that is going on. She's on her own. And now we go to the elevator again.
Yep. Denji
doors open. Denji, and we see the Katana Demon, a couple of thugs.
Yep.
And then as he was about to pull the ripcord, I go, wait, we just want to talk.
He's like, all right, what? And he's like, you killed their father and their grandfather. Right? Don't you feel any guilt?
It was his grandfather.
And he's like, they were zombies, so no. And he's like,
but they were humans before this.
Yeah, and whenever I accidentally kill a zombie, I feel guilt. And so he's like, would you let us kill you, in place of that guilt, and all will be forgiven?
As a fate, we also got before that though. He was willing, says, I'll turn myself in, depends on what you say next.
Yeah.
Because we found we got played too, basically. So
Yeah, but then
we both get played, but he's like, fuck it.
He's like, would you let us kill you and everything will be forgiven? He's like, nah. And he's like, all right, I see. And then fight.
Oh my god, this is such a good fight.
It is a good fight. It didn't win my fight of the year, but it was a great fight.
No. It was close though. Like I got Spider-Man 2 vibes from when they're fighting the train. So
yeah, true.
I love that. So I was like, that's a great callback because I love Spider-Man 2. But all this is going on. They're fighting the train around, cool music in the background.
Yeah.
And they crash through the ceiling of the train. One of his arms is cut off.
No, they crash the thing there, and they're like, "Oh, due to a situation, we're gonna evacuate the train." Yep. And somebody gets, I guess she falls, and then that's when we see the Katana Demon go after Denji. Denji protects her and himself, but loses an arm.
Yeah,
and she runs away. Come back with the same attack. Denji loses the other arm, and he's like, "Oh, like what are you gonna do? This is basically over." He's like, "Do you want to beg for forgiveness, and I'll make it quick?" And Denji's like, "I still got my head." Goes after, charges head first, and breaks the chain on his face. And what's it called? He's like, "You're stupid." And he's like, "Nah, bro, you're stupid." He's like, "Never trust what a demon says." And you see his leg, and his leg has the chainsaw. And all of a sudden, you see the Katana Demon just split in fucking two. Just fucking split, and he wins. A little bit later, he's chained to the train. And he's like, wow, you really are like me. He's like, all I did was take the katana out of your head and you fucking pulled right back together. Yep. And so he sees Aki come in, and Aki calls her back up. He's like, hey, we've got the target restrained, calling for backup. Yep. And then she's like, let's have a contest. And Matt, what kind of contest do they want to have?
It's Rochambeau. They're gonna see who kicks them as hard as they can. Like, the contest is basically kick him as hard as it can, see what happens. At Aki first, he's like, "Nah, that's stupid. You're on your own." He's like,
Himeno win. He's like, no, because Denji was smart. Denji's like, oh well, this is the guy that killed Himeno. Don't we want to get revenge for Himeno? And Aki's like, Himeno wouldn't like that shit. And he sits down. He looks at the cigarette that says "Easy Revenge."
And they look at it
back in his pocket.
So he's like, so what do I win?
What do I win if I win? And he's like, all right. And then you just see him just as the song is playing, just. Ding!
Yeah, all the screaming going on.
Oh, and he's like, bro, like veins are popping out. He is fucking like he is getting fucked up in the dick. And I liked Denji's last saying. He's like, "Are you listening to us in heaven, Himeno? We're singing you a requiem."
Yes. So that happened. He gets taken away.
Yeah,
and
that's not quite the end of the episode.
No. We got a couple things happening. First, Kobeni taking the snake person away.
Yeah.
And as she was about to ask questions, you just see blam.
Yeah. So this is happening during Makima's brief with the head of public service, and they're like, oh, basically, she's a former private sector person that had a deal with the Gun Devil, so she was providing guns to the Yakuza, and she, with her deal with the Gun Devil, that's probably written in their contract that if she gets caught, she commits suicide, or she'll die.
She can't talk. She
can't talk, so she'll die. And she's like, we recovered 1.4 kilograms of the Gun Devil in flesh in the building. We add that to the 5, and the flesh is finally moving to where the Gun Devil is located. And they're like, well, where is that? And we see a smile from Makima, and then it flashes over to Aki and Power and Denji having like a little. They basically go around town. They go shopping. What's it called? Power gets a new cat.
Yeah. No. Okay, she gets it straight. But yeah, they're all enjoying each other. Like,
yeah, they're just having a good time. Everybody's smiling. And what's it called?
We get the last song.
Yeah, and Denji passes out. Power is nowhere to be found. And
this is the after credit, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Aki is has his quiet moment, like
he's a little lit. He's been drinking.
Yep, and he has the cigarette with the Easy Revenge on it,
and he lights that bitch up and smokes it,
and like just looks up in the sky.
Yep.
And then we get to Denji.
Denji's dreaming, and Denji. We see this piece in the OP where there's a door in an alley, and we see Denji go into the door, and we've seen this a couple times, not just in the OP, but in the season as well. And Denji's like, I always have this dream. This dream never goes away. but this dream doesn't tell me anything.
But he forgets about it when he wakes up.
But he forgets about it when he wakes up, and he hears Pochita's voice from behind the door in the alley, and he's like, "Pochita, I can pet you in my dreams. Come out!" And he's about to open the door, and you hear Pochita says, "Denji, never open this door."
Yeah, and then
that's it.
You didn't hear the new character?
No.
Oh, Rezi. We don't see her, but we hear her. Can't wait for her. But
he's like a new villain.
Yes.
Okay.
But
I had seen a news article on Crunchyroll site because I refresh it every morning, but I didn't click on it. I like to be like surprised by shit.
Yeah. No, but I know who she is. Like we do from the voice. They revealed like who the character was.
Yeah.
And okay, this is gonna be good. This is where we end it. And I gave it 4 3/4.
I gave it 5. Just because it's so goddamn different.
Yeah,
it's so different.
We'll get to it in the countdown.
Yeah. It's a 5 for me.
All right, moving on. Bocchi the Rock.
Great.
Yes, great. We get to the concert. That's what we basically start with. Fucking keep the same thing up and coming, that type of thing. They start playing songs. Yeah. So the first song goes well, goes great.
But something's off toward the end of the first song. And as they're beginning the second song, she realizes, oh shit, my strings broke.
Yeah, but again, she took her father's guitar, so it's old as fuck.
It's old as fuck, and one string breaks, and the tuners that were for the recovery string isn't working.
Yep. So basically, she cannot play the certain chord she needs, and her solo's coming up.
Yeah.
And so basically, Kita being a bro, like helping out with this type of distraction thing, like gives her something.
No. Kita ad-libbed on her own because this is like that was gonna be the part where she did the solo, but she realized her guitar's broken and she couldn't do it, so she kept just doing the song like normal. And what's it called? Bocchi was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do?" And then we see Senpai's empty cup, and so she grabs Senpai's empty cup. And she uses it to finish the song using the acoustic.
She pressed on the string like to get that sound, that type of thing. She gets it. She's back. She gets her solo. It's great.
Yep.
Song's done. The band starts talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
How much they really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then they get to Bocchi. She's
Bocchi,
quiet.
what do you want to say to the crowd? And she freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And she remembers Senpai. Quiet. Senpai is like, "Oh, Senpai stage dive, and that was really cool. I'm gonna stage dive."
Yep, she stage dove,
and no one caught her. No one caught her, and she concusses herself face first.
Yeah, that was funny.
I was like, no, cringe.
I was like, you know what? This is okay. Baby steps. That's how I viewed it. Baby steps. She'll get there.
And so she wakes up in the nurse's office. They see Kita there.
And she's talking about, it's we're gonna have an after party. We're gonna wait till you were up for it.
Yeah, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and like, "Oh, everybody loved it. You were great."
No, like everyone was genuinely happy for.
I chuckled when she went back to the classroom to get her stuff, and a couple boys were passing her like, "Oh shit, it's that crazy rocker chick," and she got so embarrassed.
And she's like, "One day, I'm gonna quit school." Like, yeah, there you go.
I was like, that's not what you're supposed to do, but okay.
But now we go. Bocchi's back home. She starts apologizing to the dad.
Yep.
And he's like, no, it's okay. Like those guitars are made for like smashing, that type of things.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, but I have no money to replace it." They're like, "Who said you didn't have money?" And he pulls out 300,000 yen.
$3,000, and it's just like what happened? Oh, they find out. Oh yeah, we found your YouTube page. The Guitar
You forgot
Hero.
that your YouTube page is on a family account, Guitar Hero.
So yeah, and they get fucking paid. Like
so they're like, when you monetize your videos, you got lots of views. So I was secretly monetizing it, saving it for a rainy day if you ever needed it. You need it. Here you go.
Yes.
And she's like, well, she's like, well, guitar is only going to cost me 100,000 yen, so I could put the other 200,000 yen and quit school.
Or no. She wants to quit her job. Like she's got like pumped to like, yes, I don't need to do this anymore. But before that though, she goes to work. She's cleaned up. She's all hyped up. All this cool shit. Like
everyone's
wow, she's actually
the fuck out. They're like,
and then Bocchi went fucking Super Saiyan. So she is ready to go. She's gonna march in that office. Tell that sister to fuck off. She goes there. You need something? Like, it's about work.
Like,
like,
your
what
birthday's
was
coming
it?
up. What kind of gift do you want?
It's like nothing. I guess. And
And then later on, she's like, I like my gifts as surprises.
yeah, and then they pull her away. It's like and then you see it's just like she's actually really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, now basically they're all going to the music shop, basically to pick out Bocchi's guitar.
And Bocchi freaks out and she becomes a headbanger.
Yes, I was dying. Like, and then the receptionist is like, "Oh my gosh, one of the metal people!" Like, what do I do?
Like the metal aisle's on the second floor to the right.
Yeah, but no, like,
That was funny.
That was great. And then you have, of course, you have fucking Ryu like playing around with the bass guitars. You know, she has no money.
Yep.
But she's like trying to buy one still.
And she was telling Bocchi too. She's like, you can never have too many guitars. And everybody's looking at guitars. Kita's looking at a guitar, and everyone's looking at a guitar.
And then Nijika is the drummer, and so there's no drums there. So like, I want to get a guitar.
And they see her with like funny, crazy fucking guitar playing, fucking drum playing, fucking thing.
But while that's going on, Bocchi sees a certain guitar that she's like, look at, like mesmerized, like beautiful guitar,
all black.
Well, there was some color on it on the front.
No, it's all black. It's like silver. Maybe like that's it. There's no color.
No, I thought there was like but there's like a little bit of brown on it. Like
no, dude. No, you're thinking of her old guitar. Her old guitar was black and gold. This one is black and silver. And the I don't know what you call it because I'm not familiar with the instruments, but like the base of it is a lot like cooler, like it's like sharper, you know what I mean? It's got like a more of like a jagged edge at the top and stuff like that. So it was different. But yeah, really beautiful guitar, cost 120,000 yen.
Yeah, and then we find out it was a thing custom made. Like she fixed up, tuned up.
Yeah, the shop owner really appreciated it, and they're like, oh, it's a great first guitar. And they're like, oh well, she knows how to play it. She's just getting a replacement because their other one broke. And they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And she's like, and she started, what's it called? Bocchi starts freaking out again, and Keita's like, she'll take the guitar.
Yeah,
just buy the guitar.
Yeah, like they just buy it. Like, come on, just you know.
And they're like, oh, here's your guitar. And Bocchi's like, thank you much.
Yeah,
like you forgot the guitar. You forgot the guitar.
Yep, like she just wanted to bolt the fuck out of there.
And Keita gets the guitar, gives it to Bocchi, and they're like, hey, you want to go rent a studio and practice? Because we know Bocchi wants to play her guitar. And Najika's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. No, Najika's the one who suggested it. And Keita's like, well, no, we got practice tomorrow. So like,
yeah,
she'll get to play it the next day.
Yeah.
And so she goes home. The next morning she wakes up and we get the opening scene where she had the old guitar on her and she's like mesmerized. Now she's got the new one and she's all mesmerized. And the family's still looking at her, like creeping on her, like she's still crazy.
But that was it. Roll credits.
5 stars.
5. I'll go more in detail of it later. That's all I'm gonna say for right now.
Yep.
I loved it. It's basically it's like 10 years later we got K-On, but more social anxiety. So
I'm not a big fan of like that type of I mean, I love music anime. I'm not a huge fan of what's it called? Idol anime, and it's not an idol anime per se, but it's got like idol feel in a way because it is like 4 teenage girls that are forming a band. So it's just different because they actually play the instruments instead of singing. And so it was better. But in any case, we'll get more into detail a little bit. Alrighty, co-main.
The
co-main event of the evening.
Bleach. We got a back-to-back. I'll let you take this.
What a B2B it was. The episode begins with Ichigo coming back home, and his father opens the door and he's like, welcome home. And he's like, fuck you, Dad. And he runs away. He runs over to what's her the job's name, the woman from the job.
I forgot her name.
Anyway, he runs over to work and she lets him in, and he apologizes. He takes a shower there. He apologizes for just showing up out of the blue. And we get a heartfelt moment between them. They're like, listen, I've always cared about you since the moment you started here. I just want you to come to work. But you know that if you ever needed to come here for any reason, I'm going to let you in my house because I care about you. And it was a nice moment between them. As they're having this conversation, excuse me, the doorbell rings. She opens the door. Nobody's there. But meanwhile, inside, we see Ichigo's father, Ishin, in full gear, in full Soul Reaper gear, saying, "We need to have a talk."
No,
And
we did that already. That was last week. The first
oh,
episode.
all right, yeah,
The
my
first
bad.
episode was the flashback. Still,
Yeah,
the
my bad,
flashback.
my bad.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so we get
yeah,
the beginning,
yeah,
we get the
yeah,
continuation. My bad.
yeah.
Okay, so we get the continuation of the flashback. It's basically the next day, over whatever, and what's his mom's name?
The mom.
Masaki. I think it's Masaki.
Yeah.
Masaki is thinking about everything that happened, and she's having a casual conversation, and we see Ishin give the report to Yamamoto Taicho and gives everything that went down. They're like, okay, well, you broke rules by engaging, but you saved somebody and you ended up killing it, and so we're gonna overlook your transgression. But he's like, you're not leaving anything out, are you? And he hesitates for a second. He's like, nope, that's everything. And they're like, okay. Meanwhile, Masaki's at school thinking about everything that happened. Masaki's walking home with her friends, and all of a sudden she gets like a pain and she falls forward and she bumps into somebody. That somebody is Urahara.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. They go about their way, but Urahara looks at her with a funny look, like, and Misaki's like, what the fuck is happening? So Misaki gets home, and the grandmother of Ishida is basically yelling at her, like, we told you not to go out, you're gonna get in trouble, you're gonna taint you're gonna taint your blood, blah 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 blah. And we see Ishida's father at the time, who was younger, basically say, like, no, it's okay, da da da. And she basically, it's so interesting how that worked out, because she goes over to the maid, who later ends up being Ishida's mother, and was like, I told you not to say anything. And they're like, it's for the good of the clan, right? It's for your marriage, right? And she's got tears in her eyes because of the fact that, like, you can tell.
1 second, keep talking.
You could tell that that there's something there. But regardless, they're having this conversation, and then all of a sudden, as they're having the conversation, the pain that Masaki felt comes back. She collapses, and a hollow hole begins to form in her heart. And Ishida's father freaks out, runs out, trying to figure out where that Soul Reaper was. Coincidentally, we see Ishin come in, and they're like, yo, you're in a hurry. And they're like, oh, she's fucking dying, dude. Oh, Matt's cat. Which one is that?
Yep, this is Hime.
That's Hime?
This is the Hime.
Oh, the little princess was being a little badass?
No, she wanted to come in.
Oh.
It's like, what are you doing, you little chunker?
Little chonky chonk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's
we're
keep
working on that.
Yep. All right, so we'll keep on going. Anyway, so as they're having this conversation, they're like, yo, Misaki's dying, and then we see Urahara come up, like, listen, both of you shut the fuck up, come with me, otherwise she's gonna die for real. So they end up going to Urahara's shop, and they're like, listen, this happened because she's going through holification, which makes sense given that the hollow that bit her in the previous episode was a holified Soul Reaper. And so they're like, listen, you have no choice in the matter. Looking at Ishida's father, like, you have no choice in this matter. Ishin, everything rests with you. In order to save her, we have to inject her with the antivirus, basically. And the antivirus is you and your Soul Reaper powers. So we're gonna put you in a Gigai, and you're gonna lose your Soul Reaper powers, and you'll have to stay on Earth and be around, basically, Masaki forever. And he's like, okay. And Ishida's like, what? Ishida's father's like, what? Like, you gain nothing from this. And he tells him that. And Ishin's like, listen, if I had the opportunity to save the person that saved my life and I didn't take that opportunity, then I would be questioning myself forever. Like, am I really a Soul Reaper at all? And that made sense. They do it. He saves her from the holification. And that's that. Ishin opens up the shop. And over the course of time, Masaki graduates high school, starts visiting the shop a lot more, starts getting closer to Ishin. They end up getting really close, and Ichigo is born. And there's more to the story. As we continue the story, Ishin tells Ichigo, like, I need to tell you now the reason why your mother died that night. It wasn't because the hollow was strong, because it was the fact that even though I had lost my Soul Reaper powers, she at the time still had her Quincy powers. However, Yahweh is it's not I call him Yahweh, but it's
Yeah.
Yuhabak. It's Yuhabak. So we'll say his official name, Yuhabak.
Uh,
Is the father of all Quincy's, and he was sealed for 900 years. It took him 900 years to break the seal. It took him 9 years to regain strength, and it took him no, it took him 900 it took him 900 years to break it, 90
Yep.
years to gain strength, and 9 years to become what he is now.
Right.
And he became what he is now because he did some sort of like technique basically that stripped all Quincy's of undeserving Quincy's or tainted Quincy's of their powers. That's
Yep.
why Ishida's mom died young, because she lost her powers and got sick. That's why your mother got stripped of her powers at the time where she needed them most, and she thought she had the powers to face the Hollow. She didn't.
And-
The Hollow killed her.
Yep.
And so, and Ichigo begins to put two and two together when he goes back to the conversation, and he's like, and he starts thinking of how Yuhabak was like, oh, like you don't know anything about your past life, about your mother, my son born in the darkness. And he says, my son born in the darkness, because Yuhabak is the father of all Quincy's. His mother was a Quincy. He's half Quincy. He puts two and together. It makes sense. And the conversation's over. He looks at his father. He says, thank you. He dropped his combat pass, but that was neither here nor there. He got it back from his manager. And so he's like, I'm going to head back. And Ishin's like, how are you going to get back there? On cue, we get the assistant of Nina Maya, and is like, all right, you're coming back with me. Got your fingers again. He's back in the pit. Nehemiah is like, all right, well, now that you know where you come from and where your soul is, let's see what happens. There's a bunch of Asuichi that are around him, and he turns to them, and before where they were attacking him, they all bow before him, and he walks the path to try and find his Asuichi, and there's one that is ahead of everybody else, and Ichigo looks at it and is like, you're the one. He touches it, and the Yasuichi turns into his hollow form.
Yep.
And he's like, good, I'm going to personally make you a Zanpakuto. And so in the meantime, while this is happening, we see some of the people, like the captains, like Hitsugaya Taicho. He's like, listen, I don't have a Bankai anymore. I don't have my sword. I need to go back to the basics. And he asked one of the sword, the Kendo people that's doing the trainees, like, train me. I need to go back to my basics. And he's doing all the basics. And we see a couple people just, training. We see the what's her face? The Zoifan. She's doing fucking singular training, sweating her ass off. Because she lost hers as well. Basically everybody that lost theirs on Zanpakuto or like trying to go through. We see who's the guy who's 69. I always forget his name, but the 69 tattoo, the OG Takashi.
Yes.
Anyway, we see him, and we see his captain, and I was like, listen, you still have your Bankai. We need you to perfect your Bankai. You're gonna go against holified what's her face, the girl. And they start fighting, and they're like, oh, make no mistakes about it, she'll kill you, legit. So take this shit seriously. And so I can't wait to see the fruits of that labor. But anyway, the rest of the episode really follows Ichigo and his path to getting his Zanpakuto. We see the process of the Zanpakuto. It's this magnanimous thing, but then as he's hammering it out, Nehemiah tells Ichigo, like, listen, this is you saying goodbye to Zangetsu. And he's like, he's trying to figure that out. And he starts having a flashback, and he starts realizing he has a conversation with himself, and he has a conversation with Zangetsu. Yep. And he realizes through Nehemiah, he's like, Zangetsu is your hollowed form, basically. But the man who would save you when Zangetsu couldn't was the younger version of Yuhabak inside of him. And they have this back and forth conversation about how he didn't want Yuhabak, the younger Yuhabak, was telling Ichigo, like, I didn't want you to become a Soul Reaper. I wanted to protect you. I knew if you became a Soul Reaper, you would die, but you chose this path anyway. And you were hurt, but you forged yourself through combat. You've grown significantly. And, like I went from being angry that you did this to now, almost being proud that you did this. And now I feel that you're ready, and I have no regrets, and I'm okay with this. And you see him begin to dissipate. And
Yeah.
as he's dissipating, he says, "You were using a fraction of your power with me. Now that you know who you are, you can use your full power." And Ichigo basically reaches up to him as he's dissipating. He dissipates, and what's left is a reishi sword, the same reishi sword that he had used in the previous battle. And he picks up the reishi sword, and his Zanpakuto begins to form. And as it begins to form, Ichigo tells him, like, "Listen, I don't care if you're Yukabak, I don't care if you're Zangetsu, you'll always be Zangetsu, and I'm appreciative of you." And so, as the Zanpakuto forms, he gets two Zanpakuto. He gets a blade and he gets another one with like that looks like similar to the Reishi sword that he picked up. And as he picks them up, they're like, "Oh my god, he's got two Zanpakuto." The Zanpakuto begin to dissipate on their own, basically, as they fuse within Ichigo, because Ichigo poured his soul into him into the swords during that introspective piece that he had. And that's where he thanks Zanpakuto for being Zangetsu for being Zangetsu. And I would give it 6 stars if I could. I would break the Meltzer scale.
All right, Uncle Dave.
I'd break the showstopper scale if I could for this motherfucker.
4.5.
What?
I'll get to it later.
What?
I'll get to it later.
You put Bocchi the Rock over Bleach?
Yeah. I'll get to it later.
You can have your gift back.
All right. I'll get to it later.
All right.
It's still great though.
4.5 isn't great for me. That's really good.
Well, for you. I'll get to it later. And we actually forgot Raven.
No, we did forget Raven. That was a good one too.
4.
No, we gotta go over Raven. Raven deserves its shine.
All right.
Raven deserves its shine.
Alrighty. What happened?
God damn, you want me to fucking do this again? All right, so the episode starts off with God damn it, what did happen? Is it? Wait.
We picked. It started where we left off with Jujutsu shooting the owl, but
yes, I remember.
The body disappears.
I remember everything. So yeah, so we get Jujutsu shooting the owl. She basically collapses eventually due to exhaustion. She wakes up the next day. Everyone's around her. She's happy, but in her dream, as she's asleep, she hears Minister of the Works tell her, "Hey, the more that you crave and the more that you love, the more you're setting yourself up for the owl to come out, or not the owl, the raven to come out."
Right.
And she heeds those words, but at the same time, she sees everybody concerned, crying, happy that she's awake and safe. And it calms her fears. And so we have an interaction between her and the Emperor where, the Emperor is like, "All right, take it easy, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, by the way, I had made you this, but it broke during the battle. And it was the wooden fish." And she's like, "Well, why did you make me a wooden fish?" And she's like, "I figured that you would feel more comfortable with wearing this wooden fish instead of the metal one. And you wouldn't be, upset if you lost it or it broke. But it's broken." And she's like, "I like it this way. It fits it, and it's not going to run away as fast because it's got the broken fin." And so that was nice. And she also tells him, actually, no, I'm sorry. Did he come back for that where he couldn't sleep? Oh no, I remember now.
I was saying, I don't think
I remember what happened. So meanwhile, that night, we see the Minister of Works grab a katana and put it under his sleeves and heads out. Around this time, we see the eunuch of the Emperor show up with his report, and we find out that the person who let the owl into the palace was the Minister of the Works. They start searching all over his living location. They don't find him, and so there's only one other place he could be. We get a knock at Jusetsu's door saying he has a request. And it's the Minister of Works. The Minister of Works says, "I promised to tell you everything about your mentor before I retired. I'm here to talk about her." And she's like, "You want to talk about her over a game of Go?" So they get the game board out. She burns the last of the incense that was given to her by the minister of the works that her mentor loved. They talk more about her mentor and about basically their childhood between her and the minister of works, how like he never saw her again after like a certain age, but they're very similar, and just going over personality quirks. The game is over. She loses. The lights go dark, and Jusetsu looks at the minister of works and says, "Are you going to kill me with that sword or what?" And so he pulls the sword out, goes to stab
Gets
her,
stopped.
and gets stopped by the emperor.
Yep.
The emperor asks him questions like, you knew that she was coming in to kill you. Why'd you do that? And it was basically out of jealousy because of the fact that he felt awful that the person that he loved, her mentor,
She was left alone while she had friends.
she was left alone. She had nobody. The previous emperor never saw her, never gave a shit about her. Meanwhile, Jusetsu's got a lady in waiting. She's got a eunuch. She's got the full support of the emperor. I wanted her to have that. You gave her nothing. This palace gave her nothing.
Yeah.
And the emperor had told her like she didn't have anything when she died. Or sorry, she didn't have nothing when she died. She had Jusetsu. And the emperor begins to bawl crying. And the emperor is like, "You wanted to retire. I'm going to let you retire as of this moment. Leave and never show your face here again." That's it. Meanwhile, everyone leaves except for the emperor. The emperor, Jusetsu notices the emperor's wounds opened up. So she's like, "Here, let me take care of it." So she does a really shitty job of fucking taking care of the wounds, like wrapping it.
Yeah,
we'll find out later. We find out later. We can say this now. We find out later that her shitty wrapping job actually healed his wounds, except for like some bruising, which is normal when you get
or
stabbed.
like some type of marking type of. But
it was bruising from the.
Well, yeah, basically they were like talking about sending condolences to the family of what happened.
There's you have to. It's a little bit more complex than that. So I have to break it down. He says he has trouble sleeping, and so he's like, "Can I sleep here tonight?" And she's like, "No, the fuck, dude, that's weird." And so she gives him remedies on how to like try and fall asleep. But she knows the reason why he's not falling asleep is because he feels guilt for the magpie consort's death. And and we mentioned that earlier also to the eunuch, like, hey, like he had just lost his son and now he's lost his daughter, and I did nothing to stop that or prevent that. Like, I'm awful. And they're like, "No, you're not, whatever." She's like, so Jusetsu's like, "Hey, burn a silk feather. I'll burn a silk feather so we can mourn and we can make sure that her soul, if it hasn't already, crosses to the afterlife." Okay, she does it. The emperor doesn't get to do it yet, and so the episode continues on with basically Jusetsu opening up a little bit more. She goes over to the other consort's house. They have tea. They talk. She opens up like, if I was going to call somebody a sister, I'd call you sister. And things are very calm and nice over there. Meanwhile, the episode kind of ends with the emperor. He is overlooking the lake, and the father of the magpie consort comes over and apologizes for all the inconvenience that his daughter and his family caused him. And the emperor says, "No, I should be apologizing. Like, I should have done something more. I couldn't. I failed you. Like, I got your daughter killed." And the father says, "You shouldn't feel bad. The Raven consort wrote me a message giving me her condolence, or you guys' condolences, and explained the circumstance and explained how basically, like, you valued her humanity and you guys burnt a silk feather for her."
Yeah, it showed like how much it meant to him.
How much it meant to him. And the emperor gets emotional, and the father's like, "Did you not burn the silk feather?" And she gets emotional and he starts to cry. And the father's like, "Wow, you're crying for my daughter. I can't be more appreciative." And he cries, and they basically cry together and they mourn. This is the first time that he's gotten to mourn, because Jusetsu told the emperor, like, you need to mourn. That's part of, the process of moving forward, is you have to mourn. And so they mourn together. And then the episode goes to credits. But in the after credit, we basically see Jusetsu have a dream. And Jusetsu, I'm sorry, we don't. So the after credit is
Jusetsu's
little
like
boy.
crying.
The little boy gets woken up by the chicken, and he's like, "Oh, you can't sleep, chicken?" He's like, "Let me tell you a story about my hometown." And they basically plug and play Jusetsu in the hometown. And the story is Jusetsu in her beautiful white hair. She's happy. She's flying everywhere. She's the owl. She's the raven. She is the raven, flying happy. and all of a sudden, like, she comes down, and like some like hard like things rain down on her, and what's it called? She gets a little hurt, but she covers up and she's fine. She sees the Emperor, and she runs to the Emperor, runs into his arms, and basically tells the Emperor, "Wait for me to be free so I can be my truest self. Once I'm my truest self, we can be together." So in essence, she had a dream of a love confession to the Emperor.
Yep. So looks like we will get a season 2 of that.
I hope we do.
Yeah, because I mean, the light novel's done, so people thought that they were going to just cover it all in this one season, but it's like not.
I'm glad.
But yeah, 4.
Gave it a solid 4. I'd give it a 4.25 if I could.
You can.
Well, I go based off of my ratings on Analyst. That's why I normally give 4, 5, 3. I give solid numbers, but if I'm going to give the actual number,
I was going to say, like, if just for the show, we can do the actual thing.
4.25, almost 4.5.
Alrighty. All right, main event for part 1.
Part 6 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
This is the conclusion. We're not going to talk about all 12 episodes. We're just going to talk about the major thing that happened, basically.
No, did we go over? We did go over part 1 or part 1 of part 6, right?
We did part 1. We did part 2.
This is
part 3. This is part 3. Yeah. So we're not doing all 12 episodes. We're going to talk about the main stuff because this is important.
This is wild. Like I wrote in my review, this is truly the most bizarre adventure yet of the series, especially the ending. The ending is the most bizarre.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that because again, we're as busy where we're going to be because this is really this is the big details.
Yeah.
Basically, they got the disc. They leave prison, and Emporio would eventually give the discs back to the Speedwagon Foundation. So now, and then with Father Pucci, he's discovering the second stage of his stand, the new moon. It's all going to revolve around the new moon that's coming up shortly. This is like his next chance to get that close to Dio's heaven. This is what it's all about, Dio's heaven.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find out what exactly that will imply soon. But
yes,
eventually we see Jolene and the crew meeting up with Pucci in one of these stand-up.
By the way, I laughed my ass off when you get Jolene passed out in the back and you see Anastasia give the ring, and she's alligator, ew, alligator, and she yeets the fucking ring. Yeah, I hit him, and Anastasia's like, "Tell me you did not just do that." He went full Booker T on her ass, and it's like you never see him until the fucking chaos happens when they fucking get inverted upside down because of
I was like, wow.
I laughed. I was like, yo, that shit was funny.
But yeah, it's basically just a game of cat and mouse trying to find Father Pucci. Where's his coordinates? Where's he trying to go? Because he has to go to this certain location, this certain building.
Yeah.
For the latitude, the longitude, the time, the clocks.
Yeah. Everything is so precise.
Yes. For everything, how everything was envisioned. Like that was given to him. And like this is when he's like getting like really ill too, because he's not used to this other form of his stand.
Yeah.
With this Osprey type of this merger.
Yeah.
And we finally get it. Basically, everybody's like starting to get all topsy-turvy. Gravity's all fucked up.
In reverse. Yeah.
Yep.
Wicked.
Yeah, wicked. They see Pucci. Jolene's about to fight Pucci. Jolene is about to die. And who
should have died? I don't know how many fucking times.
Yeah. Who saved her?
Fuck. What was the noise I was gonna make? Oh God.
Zawelda.
Yeah. Star Platinum. Zawelda.
Jotaro is
Jotaro.
back.
Don't say Jotaro.
Yes.
You fucking white man. God damn it.
I am white.
God, yeah, it really shows. Like fuck.
Try
and be a cool white. Have some cool shoes, not the fucking granddaddy fucking New Balances.
I don't have New Balance.
Whatever your granddaddy shoes are. Try and be cool. Jotaro.
He's not Italian.
Well, you know, I miss
Giorno Shavana is Italian.
I miss Giorno.
I miss Giorno. He should have fucking been here.
Di giorno pizza.
Fuck you. Motherfucker.
Anyway, Jotaro.
Yeah, Jotaro is back. He said he's back. He knocks Poochie back a bit.
Yeah.
He gets Jolene to safety. Anastasia, of course, now's not the time. I want to marry your daughter. I can't do it. I need your blessing. I don't care if I get her or not.
Jotaro's like, have you lost your fucking mind from the stress?
It's like, I don't
Hey,
need
buddy.
it. Hey, buddy. He may lay him down.
My cat does not like this.
But yeah, no. Anastasia's like, I don't care what happens. Like I know I won't get it, but I just need the okay. That's all I need to get me motivated, basically. So what all is going on? You see like this lightning flash, zoom, 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 zoom. And it's from Poochie, and his stand like fully evolved. It's made in heaven.
Tell me why does my cat look like the Bart Simpson meme?
No, let's not do that on the air. But no.
Purring. You hear him?
Oh.
He likes being abused. Okay.
Fucking God. Yes. He ran away.
There you go. I can only do it for so long. He's like, all right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And always he insults me. As soon as I put him down, he licks himself like, ill, you're fucking cooties.
But like now Poochie is like moving lightning fast because his new stand made in heaven. Everything's going on. They can't see him. Like not even with Star Platinum's the world. Like it's not enough.
They catch him just glimpses. They see him in very.
But there's not enough to like get a hit on him or anything.
Yeah, as soon as the 5 seconds are up, gone.
You have like basically have less than a second basically.
Yeah.
So basically, all was going on. They're not safe in this building. So they okay. Let's get to the water.
Yeah.
Like we'll get them there.
Smart plan by Anastasia.
But we'll get to that in a bit. They all get there. Anastasia's like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. I'm basically gonna be the bait. It's the second he hits me, you start planning. We'll get him
not
right
a second before, and he needs to kill me.
Like as soon as I say now.
No. He said not now. He said I'm gonna give a signal. You're gonna feel it through what was his
Hermes?
No, what was his stand's name?
I forgot his name. I forgot the name of the stand.
Because he had put his stand inside of each of them. He put inside.
Right.
And so he's like, the moment I get hit, you're gonna get the cue because you're gonna feel it because my stand is inside you. Don't wait. Don't do it a second before. Make sure I get hit. And so he gets hit. They pull it. They think they have him.
Yeah. Diver down is the stand.
Diver down. But no, it wasn't Made in Heaven that hit him. It was Jolene.
Yep. And Poochie's stuff was above them, like the knives and all
with
this.
Fucking a whole thing of throwing knives.
Yep. So Jotaro has to either kill Poochie or save Jolene.
He saves Jolene, and Poochie's like, "This is your problem, Jotaro. Your greatest weakness is the love for your daughter, and because of that, all of you are going to die."
Yep. So. Yeah, Anastasia dies. Hermes gets her hand chopped off. She's bleeding out. Jotaro's face gets cut.
Yep.
They're dead.
Yep.
He killed Jotaro.
Sorry,
whatever. But yeah, he killed Jotaro. It's now Emporio and Jolene left.
Yes.
And all what's going on.
And Jolene, this whole time, is still bleeding out because she got stabbed in the neck by one of the fucking things.
Yeah. And time is just rapidly going as all this.
Because you didn't even mention that. You didn't mention that the final form of his shit is time is what's called time basically, is going by at a rate of like 1 year is like an hour.
Yeah, so basically his goal is to reset the universe. That is his goal in heaven.
Yeah. Dude, so I want to say if you were on any sort of hallucinogenic drug, you would be fucked up watching this.
Yeah, agreed.
You would, if you were on shrooms or acid watching JoJo, you would fucking be like having a seizure. You'd be seeing the universe the way we saw the universe toward the end.
Yes.
Wild.
But as going on, time is slowly progressing. So basically, Emporio and Jolene, they have to escape. They're not going to make it. They're going to fucking die. And as it's going on, you see the dead bodies. They're all turned to skeletons.
Yep.
That's it.
That's how fast time is going.
Yep, and then Poochie starts trying to go after them, and Jolene says, "I'm slowing you down."
No, you forgot. He's slowing down because he tied them to a fucking dolphin, and they said whenever you ride a dolphin, a dolphin will always take you to shore because
Yep.
that's natural instinct. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. But yeah, it's again like 2 people with a dolphin on it is too much.
Yeah.
And basically, oh, we forgot to mention Weather Report fucking died too, and he got his memories back, and he's like
yeah,
fuck.
that was the beginning of the part.
And but he was able to take a stand out of him to save it. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. But yeah, so Jolene makes a sacrifice. She lets go. And now Emporio is alone.
Time goes by so fast that time is reset to Green Dolphin Prison. He ends up in Green Dolphin Prison. He ends up in the scene with Jotaro and Jolene arguing in the visitors' room. Except when you look at Jotaro and Jolene,
it's not them.
It's people that look similar.
Yeah.
They're like doppelgangers almost. And he's like, that's not them. What's going on? And you see you see Pucci, and he's got one eye cut because of one of the knives that was thrown at him.
Yeah.
Sliced his eye. You see him bleeding from his eye. But he's like, time moved by so fast, I reset the universe to the next universe. Like when one universe ends, the other universe begins. We're in the other universe. And the thing about heaven, about Dio's heaven, is being able to basically know the future. Everything in this universe will parallel the previous universe. When there's a hurricane, the hurricane will strike in this universe. When somebody dies, they will have died the same exact way at the same exact time in the same exact location in the previous universe. Dio's heaven is being able to prepare for what you know is already coming.
Yep. So basically this whole plan was absolute. Emporio is scared. He's freaking out. He starts running away.
And Pucci's calling where he's going to be at. You're going to go here. Oh, you're going to get scared. You're going to go on the wall and end up here.
Yep. Like he cannot escape. He's a scared child.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't piss himself.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to that.
You know, I wondered if he pissed himself the one time with the blood. Was he wearing a cup?
Yeah.
He's a baseball player, right? You could be wearing a cup.
No, I think he's a baseball fan, but I don't think he played.
He's wearing whole cleats.
I was saying he's playing, like kids.
If you're wearing cleats, you can probably wear a cup.
Okay.
Anyway,
he probably doesn't know what a cup is, but basically, it's got to the point where he eventually goes into his secret hidden room. Like, he won't find me here, but guess what? He finds him.
Yep.
Like, you led me here. This is what it's all about. But something is different with this one.
Yeah.
Why is it different, Ethan?
Because all of a sudden, as Pucci's going to make his final move, he gets paralyzed and cannot move. And he's like, why am I paralyzed? What's going on? And you see inside of Emporio's head, weather reports.
Yep. That he injected the sand into him, the disc.
And he sucked all the oxygen out of the room. And he starts going over medical facts that pure oxygen is deadly to the body. They said that the human body can't take no more than 40% saturation, 40% pure oxygen. Anything more, and your organs begin to fail. You start bleeding out of your eyes. You start losing your eyesight. You start going through catastrophic organ failure. And Pucci, that's what happened in the Pucci. And so Emporio's going through it too, but it's not as bad for him because he's got the stand and he prepared for it.
Yeah, and now Pucci is just begging for his life. Please just let me live.
As Weather Report has its fucking fist inside of Pucci's face.
Yeah.
Crumpling his fucking skull as the oxygen continues to be just drained from fucking Pucci.
So as that happens, that final push down, Pucci is no more.
Pucci Shinde.
Yeah, Pucci Shinde. So now Emporio was like that sigh of relief, like what at what cost? Everyone's dead. They don't exist practically.
Yep.
So he was able to leave out. He snuck out of the prison.
Yep.
You see him start walking. Who does he see during this walk?
Hermes
on the bus, but it's not her. It's a different name. But all's going on. Like Emporio's like freaking out a little bit. The bus stops at the gas station.
Yep.
And then
who does he see at the gas station, Matt?
Anastasia.
And who's
Jolene. But it's not them. It's like different names.
Yeah.
But it's same body, same voice, all of that shit.
They're married.
Well, no,
they're not married.
They're dating, but they're going to her dad's house for the blessing.
Yeah.
So, but since it's raining out in Florida, of course, basically they offer to give Emporio a ride.
Yeah.
Hermes.
They need Hermes' gas money.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're gonna stop in Cape Canaveral.
Basically, and then all is going on. You hear that beautiful ED going on. And then as they're driving away, there's another hitchhiker. It's fucking Weather Report.
Weather Report.
And then we get the roundabout credit to be continued type thing.
And we don't know what the fuck is going to happen in part. Well, you know what's going to happen because you read the manga.
Yeah. But will they actually do it or will they just end it here?
I hope they don't. How long did it take to animate part 6 from part 5? 3 years?
About.
Yeah.
As long as Netflix doesn't fucking touch it again.
I didn't mind it. It could have been better, obviously, that way, but it feels like Netflix is going to have that one exclusively. So it'd be nice for them to release it weekly.
We'll see what happens. I know I gave it a low grade when we talked about it, but at this thinking about it again, it's a higher grade.
I had given it a 4 up to part 2. And when part 3 started, I was like, well, let me, just in case this shit goes off the rails and I hate it, let me delete the grade. So I removed the stars and I ended up giving it the same stars. It's a 4. 4 out of 5.
I gave it 4.5.
It's a 4 for me. Solid 4. Yeah. I always died laughing whenever Emporio pulled out the computer. I was like, where the fuck does he get a large CTR computer that connects to the internet and doesn't plug into anything?
Don't worry about it.
That fucking bugged my mind.
Don't worry about it.
It's something really cool about because I live in Florida. I'm familiar with the area. I live in Orlando. If the road that they were traveling from Miami on, is A1A, State Road 1. State Road 1 leads you all the way up to like a certain point in the north, but regardless, that's the exact path they took to get to Cape Canaveral, which was actually fictionally accurate. What wasn't accurate, which pissed me off, it said when they were in Orlando, they were like, Orlando, Florida, 10 hours to drive to Cape Canaveral by car. I was like, if you're like maybe bicycling, it'll take you 10 hours to get there. Like, dude, it's a 2-hour ride max from Orlando to Cape Canaveral.
Lovely.
That irked me.
Alrighty. Closing thoughts before we take a break.
What a season, dude. What a season. Mm-hmm. Strong season. We talked about you and I off the air about grading the seasons this year for our annuals that are next week. And I like that idea. We'll probably do that. And this is a strong contender for season of the year. So many great seasons. If I look at my top 10, 9 of the top 10 were 4 stars or higher. Great. Everything, most everything had strong finale.
That's the thing. Everything in my top 10 is 4 and up.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, it's so tough. So tough. Everything in my no, I'm lying. I don't think everything in my top 10 made the annuals. Let me see real quick. My top 10. No, I'm sorry. 9 out of my top 10. 9 out of my top 10 made annual.
Let me check mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 of yours made annual. 9 of mine made annual.
Yeah, 6 of mine made annual. 2 of them made honorable mention.
Well, I mean, to me, I made annual as like the top 30. That includes honorable.
Okay, then 8.
Yeah. So we're right, pretty close.
Okay. Guys, we will be right back as we give out some cakes, the awards, our top 10, our winter watch list, and we are out of here for the season until next week. We'll get to that later. But again, stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the reviews for the finale. But again, if you stick around for 10 more minutes, we will get to our cakes.
Yes. Plug after the fact.
Yes.
Welcome to Talk the Kēki.